is now convened in a regular board meeting on Monday, April 13th, 2020. Meetings of the board are normally held at 10,300 Jones Road, Houston, Texas. However, this meeting will be conducted by video and audio conference in accordance with the governance authorization concerning suspension of certain open meeting law requirements for the COVID-19 coronavirus disaster. A quorum of members of the board will participate in the meeting and will be audible to the public. Members of the public have been directed to access this meeting from the district's website or to join the meeting by telephone. I want to welcome the members of our audience to this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As the Cypress-Fairbanks Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to the items on today's agenda. The items on this agenda do not necessarily have to be handled in the order listed on this notice. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by sections 551.071 through 551.084 of the Texas Government Code. These proceedings are airing live on the district website. They will also be rebroadcast throughout the month on Channel 16 and available as video on demand on the website. Thank you for taking time to join us today and for your interest in Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District. Board member Dr. John Ogletree will give the invocation today. John?
Yes, let us pray. Heavenly Father, we do thank you that we can call upon you now, and we are thankful that we can find shelter in your shadow, under the shadow of your wings. You are our refuge and our fortress, and we place our trust in you during these COVID-19 times. We have only you to look for. And we ask that you would deliver us. We ask that you would cover us. We ask that you would help us not to fear this virus, but ask that you would keep us free from it. Bless our staff of this district. Bless the superintendent, Dr. Henry, and all his staff. Bless our board. Bless all of our families, bless all of our teachers, everyone who is a part of this district. Cover them and let the education process go forward. We thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Dr. Ogletree. And now board member Gilbert Sarabia will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Gilbert?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Gilbert. Now, Debbie Blackshear will read the district's vision and mission statement for the benefit of our audience. Ms. Blackshear.
Yes, good morning. Our vision at CFISD is formed from the acronym LEAD, to learn, empower, achieve, dream. LEAD. Our mission is to maximize every student's potential through rigorous and relevant learning experiences, preparing students to be 21st century global leaders.
Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. Public comments. Patrons who have registered in accordance with the notice may have their comments read aloud to the board on an agenda item during or before the board's consideration of this item. We have no public comments today. We'll now proceed to the board comments portion of the agenda. Any board member may make a comment during this portion of the agenda without prior posting being required. Comment items may not pertain to the character of any students, staff, or board member and may not be discussed or deliberated upon at this meeting. Gilbert, do you have anything you'd like to share?
Yes, I would like to share give thanks to everybody in the administration and how they're performing their job duties, and special thanks out to the food services for the countless and thousands of meals that they are serving throughout. I myself could not see the foresight for this undertaking that they're doing when I can see the other areas are hurting for what we're accomplishing here. I feel saddened by their plight, but here at the Cy-Fair district, everything seems to be rolling along, and we're giving out thousands and thousands of meals out daily, and it's an accomplishment that is worth noting. I just want to make sure that they got their due, and for everybody to stay safe, and see you soon.
Thank you, Gilbert. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Bob. I too would like to say thank you to everybody involved in the food service approach and delivery of food for our families and our children. That, of course, starts with Mark at the top, and it goes all the way down to the people who are handing food out at curbside as the cars come up. Also, a tip of the hat to Linda and her curriculum team for having to devise an entirely new form of educational delivery. I have been in communication with parents. They are pleased. There are obviously exciting moments as we unveil a new endeavor, but also see that there's a silver lining to this that we'll be able to use in the future. But overall, a big thank you to all the members of our district, from Mark all the way down to those who make certain the buildings remain safe and clean, but also to our parents and students, as well as our empty nesters within the district. I thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Ms. Blacksher?
Yes. You know, when I was reviewing last month's minutes, I noted that I ended my comments wishing everyone a restful spring break so that we could all come back and finish strong. Never in a million years could I have foreseen what was about to happen. It's definitely a challenging time for everyone, and I have to commend Dr. Henry, his leadership, and all of the district who have worked so hard to develop an online curriculum in just 2 weeks. Our custodial staff and maintenance workers who are working to keep our facilities clean and germ-free. Our principals and their staffs working to implement the new curriculum. Our teachers. I doubt there was a class in college that prepared them for teaching from home online during a pandemic. Our food services department preparing meals for our students and their families, and all those working to distribute the meals and learning packets. Transportation personnel working to drop off packets at homes, and the list goes on, and it's just so beautiful to see how our district is working together for the benefit of our students and our community. And to our seniors, I would say that our hearts ache for all that you're missing out on, and we realize that you are missing a lot of laughs. I am a grandmother of a senior at Cy Ranch. And the other day I asked her what lesson she had learned from the pandemic. And she said, well, Granny, life changes and you just have to learn to go with it. So just know that you're seniors, that you're not forgotten. And as Dr. Henry has said, we will honor you and celebrate you when we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. Mr. Don Ryan, do you have anything?
Bob, I think I just echo what all of my peers have said. I don't think I need to elaborate on it anymore, but thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Ogletree.
Yes, thank you. I echo everyone else with the accolades to our district, Dr. Henry and his team. I do, though, want to encourage all of us in the community to be in prayer and do whatever we can, because for many of our students, going to school was an escape of some negative, sometimes horrific situations in their homes. And now there is no escape. So we need to pray for them and understand that for all under this COVID-19, it is not a happy situation, because there is no escape from it. And we're going to have many parents who have, if they're not already laid off, who are going to be dealing with a negative financial situation, and that's going to compound things. And I just want us to be mindful of what all students may be going through at this time. If you look at read the various statistics, the things that we don't want to increase in our homes and in families are increasing, and that affects every child that's in such a home. We also should be in prayer and recognize that every student learns different, and as much as our team is doing to deliver learning online, every student will not fare well with that online learning. So I just think that all of our prayers and our attention should be on the least of these, and pray that we can get out of this situation that we're in. But again, thank God for all that the district is doing, and we have churches and community groups across our district who are partnering to help. But this can really be a rough time for many. Also, there are segments of our district, and I'm sure some of you saw that, of the highest areas that are being affected by the coronavirus. And part of it is in our district. And so in a couple of zip codes that our district also has. So we really need to know that there's some people that we need to really pray for.
Thank you, Dr. O. Julie Heineman.
Yes, thank you. I also want to extend thanks to everyone in the Cypher ISD community, specifically our teams in curriculum and instruction, food services, human resources, facilities, principals, APs, counselors, nurses, Dr. Henry and his team, and especially our teachers, many of whom are also parents and are at home with their own kiddos. I'm grateful for our community pulling together. Did you know that Cypher is the largest employer in our area, and many families rely on our strength and support in Cypher ISD, and our employees are working so hard in service of our mission. At the end of the day, it is always about the students. My heart worries every day for our most vulnerable students, those who struggle academically or economically, and those for whom school is a safe place. I know that teachers and counselors and APs are working hard to reach all of our students and ensure that they have access to resources. To parents, this is a very difficult time. I just encourage you to extend grace to yourself and to your children. And to seniors and senior parents, it is not fair that your senior year is messed up. I am grieving with you for the loss of those important senior year experiences. One of my daughter's favorite movies when she was little was a movie called Home. It's an animated film. It has a great soundtrack and a great story, but one of the characters talks about their feelings and feeling sad, mad. And that's exactly how I feel. And I know many of you all are also feeling sad, mad about the loss of these senior year memories. While we can't make the senior year like it's supposed to be, please know that the district is doing everything that we can to make the best of this awful situation. No matter what, we are so proud of you. So many of you have worked hard all these years to reach this point. Some of you are going to college. Some of you are going to look for work in the workplace. Some of you are going to the military. No matter where you end up, just know that we love you and we are very proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Heineman. I, like Don, will echo what everyone else has been saying. And I think everyone's covered almost everything that I would have wanted to say. I will say that, curiously enough, I've had a number of people, when I go to the grocery store, will say to me that they're very proud of what they see the district is doing. I've had them come up. I've had, actually, this is kind of crazy, carrying my trash out to the front, and one of my neighbors walked by and said, "My kids miss seeing their friends." And I know that is felt throughout this district. But we appreciate everything that this district's doing for our students, all the way through, and everyone that's involved. We'll now proceed to citizen participation. Patrons who have registered in accordance with this notice may address the board regarding matters of concern or interest to the district, other than the character of any student, staff, or board member. The board may not act upon any matter that is not listed under the action item portion of the agenda. Today, we have 2 citizen participations, and Leslie Francis, who is Assistant Superintendent of Communications and Community Relations, will read aloud the public comments which were previously submitted via the district's website. Ms. Francis?
Good afternoon. We had 2 comments submitted for citizen participation today. The first one I will read on behalf of Kelly Brown. I would like to humbly suggest that an advisory committee with parents be created to give varied perspectives as everyone works together to make sure the students are excelling. I would also like to see teachers do Zoom sessions 2 to 3 times a week to introduce new concepts, outline the learning plan for students, and follow up to see mastery of the content. Any additional times could be used for small groups for those having trouble with a concept that week. I hope call-in options, language considerations, and other accommodations can be done for any student as deemed necessary. I would also like to see summer school be offered during June and July to fill in gaps before the next school year. I'm sure that discussions are already taking place, but more information would be greatly appreciated while so much is changing and uncertain. I have the full faith in this district and the leadership, which is why I feel comfortable writing this and expressing my concerns. The second citizen participation is on behalf of Donna Lord. Good afternoon. I am Donna Lord, Vice President, Cyfair TSTA NEA. On behalf of Cyfair TSTA NEA, I would like to thank Dr. Henry and the Board of Trustees for their leadership and support throughout these very difficult times. We appreciate the work you've done, not only to ensure our students are supported, but also that our employees are supported. We applaud the foresight of the Board of Trustees for putting in place provisions for employee compensation. It is a great relief to us all. Cyfair TSTA NEA extends our prayers and thoughts to all stakeholders. We are looking forward to returning to normal soon.
Thank you, Ms. Francis. We'll now proceed with the reports portion of the agenda. Board members, as you know, we have some pretty detailed information that's going to be shared with us. So when it comes time for questions, what I'll do, instead of trying to have y'all raise your hand, I'm just going to go down the line. I'm going to take turns with everybody, and I'll ask if you have a question or comments or anything along that line. The administration will present an updated oral report on the district's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The board will now proceed. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not ready to do that. Dr. Henry.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Covey, Board of Trustees, and of course, staff and the viewing audience. We're going to provide you an overview of a little bit of where we've been and where we are going as a district. As you are all aware, this is an unprecedented time, not just for CFISD, but for our country. So we've been busy trying to meet the needs of our students, meet the needs of our staff, and to provide the best product we can given the unprecedented nature of this event. I can tell you that we came off spring break and we were supposed to start school back on March 16th. And March 16th through 20th was actually a week where the district was closed. But on the 16th of March, our curriculum and instruction team already had some instructional materials posted to our website. It was not our at-home learning yet, but there were some materials for our students and parents to work with. Our curriculum and instruction team, along with assistants from campus staff, had at-home learning up and running by the 23rd of March. To my knowledge, it was the first that had been posted of any district in our area. In fact, it's 2 or 3 weeks ahead of most districts. Now, you'll hear a little bit later from Dr. Macias of where we've been and where we plan on going with our at-home learning. But certainly I'm thankful for that group that put in literally hundreds of hours over a short period of time in order to have resources available to our students and our parents at the earliest possible date. Also, I would certainly like to thank our student nutrition team. I've said this in tweets. I don't know that there's any greater hero in our community than our student nutrition team. They've been on the front line since March 16th, making sure that our most vulnerable students and families' needs, basic needs, are being met. And not just the basic need of nutrition, but the basic need of seeing that there's someone that cares about them, that's checking on them. So certainly the real heroes of this whole event from the very beginning have been our student nutrition team. CFISD will continue to provide essential operations for students and staff, such as remote learning, curbside meals, payroll, sanitation, maintenance and repair, and many others, while we're focused on our 4 critical priorities. And I would remind you of these that we established over a month ago. The health and safety of our students and staff, number 1, continuity of instruction for students, continuity of pay for employees, and avoidance of extending this school year. Again, reviewing, as you recall, on March 31st, the governor extended the restriction on social gatherings and groups of more than 10 people through Thursday, April 30th. They extended the closure of all schools in Texas through Friday, May 1st. We still have plans to return on May 4th for in-class instruction. Now, you know, I guess this is a moment of honesty. I don't know that will happen. That is so dependent on people at the federal and the state level and even at the county level. Currently, you know, by law, we are not allowed to have schools. So a lot of things will depend on people that are way above my pay grade. So I'm not for sure that we will be back in school this year, just to be honest, in class in school. But if we're not, We are preparing right now for in-class instruction, and we're also preparing to continue our online instruction. Our online instruction will, as many have expressed, it will continue to get better. It will continue to get richer and deeper and try to provide more opportunities for our students. I can also say that we are already preparing for August 24th of the 2020-2021 school year. And we're looking at both options there also. We're going to be fully prepared to have online school. We don't expect, and we are praying that does not occur, but we certainly need to be prepared for that. But we're also making many decisions now, establishing committees to make sure that if we come back to on-campus instruction, that our buildings are going to be as safe and secure environment for our students and staff and all of our visitors that enter our campuses. So we're already starting on next school year, looking at the different ways that we can become better at making the environment safer. Events that are big events at the end of the school year. You know that we've currently canceled our senior proms, but here's a little. I don't want anyone to miss this. We have canceled them, but we're attempting to secure alternative dates and venues. We're very hopeful. And in fact, I can almost tell you that we're almost for sure we're going to have rescheduled dates in June for our high school proms. Now, again, those will be subject to stay-at-home orders or gathering orders that may come to us from the county, the state, or the federal government. But we are going to reschedule our senior proms in June. So I want our seniors to get that message. Graduations. Our graduations are still scheduled May 27th through the 30th, but we've also set up alternate dates for senior graduations, and they're scheduled the week of July 6th through 11th. That's an alternate date. We still have the May graduation dates, but we have established alternate dates. So I want to make sure that's very clear. And those are in-person live events. If for some reason we're not able to do either one of those, we have already started working on virtual celebrations in a way that we can have some semblance of graduation if those first two groups of dates are not possible. You're all aware, those of you who participate in UIL activities, that the statewide has suspended all activities through May 4th, including practices, competitions. So that is ongoing, and again, that is beyond CFISD's control, but I know our good friends at UIL are working closely with the state to determine if it's possible to finish our spring events. I have talked to the executive director of UIL, and they still fully plan to do everything possible to complete the spring events. It's going to look different if they are able to come back, but their goal is right now to continue that. Moving on to district operations, just a reminder, those in the district who are working remotely are teachers and support staff. Those that are actually working on site, I mentioned earlier, food service, maintenance, custodial staff, some transportation staff, payroll. I'm here every day along with a skeleton crew of senior officials. So we're continuing with the spring semester, as you know, though it just looks different than we had certainly planned. Buildings are closed to students and the public. Again, that's a safety issue. But phones are answered every day from 9 to 2 p.m. And certainly if it's after those hours or before those hours, if you leave a message, someone will certainly contact you. So having said that, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Dr. Deborah Stewart.
Good afternoon. I'd like to give you a quick overview or update on human resources and student services support. During this school closure,
Will be answered later.
continue to use PowerSchool registration online enrollment. Thus far, we have registered over 141 new students. For students without internet connection or computers, they are able to call in and we can register them over the phone. So we want you to be assured that that process has continued. Last month, 36 campuses were recommended and approved to be open for transfers. We have continued the process of receiving those applications and have processed over 124 transfers for students. Classroom management interactive training modules is supported by student services. We are in the process of developing online support for our current customers, which are classroom teachers, instructional paras, behavior interventionists, and assistant principals. So those classroom management trainings are continuing, they're interactive, and our staff members are signing up for those. Our DAEP students are continuing to receive support from the ALCs, both East and West. When those students have completed their placements, they are being pointed to their home campuses. Counselors and teachers at that point will continue the process of providing services. For our homeless students who are experiencing homelessness, we are working with the campuses, the ease counselors, the social workers to make sure that those students are being taken care of. Each of our homeless students have received a phone call and will continue to receive those phone calls to make sure that they are aware of meal pickup sites, computer needs, paper packets, whatever the need is for our homeless students, we're making sure that we meet those students. Now I'd like to give you an update on human resources. As far as interviewing, human resources and campuses are using a virtual interviewing platform to interview candidates. Resources for principals and hiring managers were created to help them navigate this different interviewing process system. Please know that prior to this modified way of interviewing, our campus principals had the opportunity to interview candidates remotely. So we are continuing with that process. For our job fair, the original career fair was scheduled for April the 30th and has been canceled. We are currently working on a virtual job fair and hope to be able to implement or launch that in May. And we'll come back with you with the date and how that's going. As far as our internal processes for principals, they have continued. For instance, campus transfer, where teachers and administrators can transfer from one campus to another. We have continued that process. We've continued our payroll process. We've continued our family medical leave processes. All of those internal processes, we're able to continue to support our community. Supporting telework for employees. Many district employees are currently teleworking or working from home. Some employees are doing this current work functions from their home, and some are completing alternative assignments from their home. HR, along with the supervisors, are making sure and supporting those people or supporting the staff to make sure that they are appropriate alternative assignments and current assignments to support their daily work. That completes it for human resources and student services. I think at this time I'll take questions. Oh, I won't. I'm turning that over to Health Services, Roy Garcia in Health Services.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Christiana Bernal from Health Services. I hope all of you are healthy and safe. I would like to give you a quick update on what is happening in our department. Our nurses are providing long distance support to our students and their families by phone. We're offering guidance and information, helping them find available resources, and just to be there to connect with them and help them through this difficult time. Our nurses are also taking continuing education courses online that are relevant to school nurses, to school nursing, specifically to the COVID-19 situation right now. They are reviewing our policies and procedures to improve our daily practice. Our nurses are also completing state screening reports that are due to the state in June, rather. And they are busy preparing for next year already by reviewing immunizations and the compliance and preparing for August. And our nurses are also screening all the Cypher ISD employees at the campus levels that are participating in the curbside meal preparation and distribution of instructional packets. In an abundance of caution, we've implemented this protocol for the safety of our community, and it started on Monday, April the 6th. The screenings are conducted by nurses and clinic assistants of our department. And like I said, all staff members that are participating in the curbside meal and instructional packet efforts are screened every day. We have developed a screening protocol for them to use to keep everybody safe. And the screener will ask the screening questions from 10 feet away. And based on their nursing assessment, if all questions are answered satisfactorily, the employee will move forward and the nurse will take his or her temperature. Now, excluded are those who are found to have a temperature of 100.0 degrees or higher. If they show any signs and symptoms of respiratory infection, such as cough, shortness of breath, or sore throat, or any gastrointestinal symptoms, such as nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea. There are also questions asked about their travel history, their exposure to anyone that is a confirmed or suspected case of COVID-19. And based on these questions, then the nurse will make the determination whether the staff member is fit to participate in the effort or has to be excluded. So any person who unsuccessfully completes the screening questionnaire will have to be excluded, and we advise them to contact their healthcare provider and follow their guidance. And these employees also will not be allowed to return until they are 3 days fever-free without using any fever-reducing medications like Tylenol or Motrin, or they can return after 7 days from the onset of respiratory of the gastrointestinal symptoms that I mentioned. And these guidelines are, of course, based on the CDC recommendations. And for the fever-free or the gastrointestinal or respiratory symptoms, it's whichever comes last is what will be followed. Now, if a person becomes ill during their shift, they will be sent home immediately, and then we will contact the operations department, which we've been working very closely with to ensure that proper decontamination procedures of the sites are followed, again, following the CDC recommendations for this procedure, using hospital-grade disinfectant, and also based on the level of contact and exposure, we follow the CDC guidelines as far as notification of coworkers that could be affected as well. The screening actually takes place Monday through Friday at all of the 19 campuses that are participating in the curbside meal preparation and distribution efforts. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, there are 85 campuses who are participating in the instructional packet distribution by bus. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, all 91 campuses are participating in the distribution at the campus sites, and the nurses and the clinic assistants are there on each of those days to screen any employee that's participating in those efforts. And that's really all I have from my department. Thank you so much. Stay safe.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to provide an update to you all on our facilities and construction, maintenance operations, as well as our transportation and nutrition services through this crisis. Our facilities department is continuing forward with all our critical path construction projects. We're continuing work at Rowe Middle School, and I can assure the public that that building will be ready and open for the 2020-2021 school year. Progress is moving very well on that project. We are also completing work at Hamilton Middle School. We're also continuing forward with our security fencing throughout the district, as well as work over at Libi Middle School. In terms of our maintenance department, this is a great opportunity for us to be able to perform work orders when we don't have people in the building. So it allows us to do some of our preventive maintenance work that needs to be done that we normally do during the summer months, but we've been able to move that up in schedule and work on cooling towers and other various systems to keep our systems running as efficiently as possible. Our maintenance and grounds department have also gone around the district and they've installed caution tape around all our playground equipment. And we also removed all the outdoor basketball rims to hopefully not entice people to want to utilize those facilities during the crisis. As we move to the operations department, we have disinfection procedures for district facilities. And I do want to point out that we have in the past, even before COVID-19, we have been using hospital grade type cleaners in our buildings. And the cleaners we have been using are very effective with the COVID-19 virus. So we know we are using the right products and have been using those products for quite some time. But currently right now we are disinfecting all our high touch surfaces with a hospital grade and disinfected daily. We're detail cleaning and utilizing a HEPA, which is a high efficiency particulate air vacuum as we vacuum our facilities. And we're also mop and auto scrubbing all our hard floors. And as we continue the support of our ongoing district operations, we're disinfecting critical path areas where instructional packets are being assembled and laptops are being distributed. We're also maintaining adequate supplies of our hand soap and hand sanitizer in all our facilities throughout. As we move to curbside meals, it's amazing how much our nutrition service department has done starting over spring break when we were preparing for the shutdown when it was announced for at the start of March 16th. And they have done an incredible job in being able to serve food the first day of March 16th. And I am pleased to report that we have served through April 9th a total of 355,403 meals to date. Just an incredible amount of work has gone into it. And I want to thank Bill and Darren and the rest of the nutrition services team for all they've done. We have a total of 19 curbside meal locations that we're serving Monday through Friday, and we serve from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. every day throughout the crisis. Our print center has been doing an unbelievable job in keeping up with all the instructional packets that are being produced by our curriculum instruction department. As you can see, we have produced a total of 237,709 packets over the last 4 weeks. And that equates to about 673 miles of paper or $5.8 million sheets of paper that have been produced. We have actually had to outsource some of this work in order to keep up with the demands and the printing for those instructional packets so they can be delivered in a timely manner. And so we have used some local vendors, and it's obviously supporting some of our local businesses to provide that additional support to provide the needs for our students out there. Our distribution center and warehouse. We have delivered 21 pallets of our learning at home packets to our 19 curbside meal locations in the 2 weeks of March 23rd and March 30th. And then now we're delivering packets to all 91 campuses weekly. We started that last week and will continue through the crisis. And And we're also, the distribution center is also the central hub for receiving all our mail, as well as any FedEx and UPS packages that are being delivered throughout the district. You know, it's one of those things that you don't think about until you deal with a crisis like this, but we have reached out to those delivery entities, and we have set up the distribution center warehouse as the point of delivery. And then we take those packages and typically twice a week, we're delivering them to the campuses along with the mail that's received by the U.S. Postal Service. Our transportation department, I've got to give kudos to them as well. They, last weekend or a weekend before, they worked countless hours through that weekend to prepare and developing over 264 routes to be able to deliver our homeschool instructional packets to individual homes. These are folks that did not have access to any of our curbside 19 sites or to the campuses. And we've reached out working with the school leadership team and all the principals to determine which students needed to have packets delivered to their home. And we delivered over 5,000 packets last week. And I believe we only had 92 packets that were undeliverable that were actually mailed. So we have a backup plan. So any packets that are unable to be delivered, we do have a system in place. Those are returned, and then they're packaged up and put in the mail to get to those people's houses. With that, that concludes my portion of the presentation. I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Roy Garcia, our Chief Officer for School Leadership.
Thank you, Roy, and good afternoon, everyone. Before we move to the next slide, if I may, I would just like to take the opportunity to thank, as each of the board members did, all the personnel throughout the district that have assisted in bringing the services that you are hearing about to each and every student and each and every staff member as well. Definitely, as we move forward with the next slide, you'll hear a little information that you've heard already as it relates to the instructional packets, but I did want to just mention a couple of things and let you enjoy some of the pictures there. Prior to last week, the instructional packets, as you heard, were distributed by our curriculum instruction and accountability team at the 19 curbside meal sites. Last Tuesday, the instructional packets were distributed by our principals and their various staff members, counselors, assistant principals at each of the 91 campuses. What this did is provided, think of where your child or grandchild may go. This provided them an opportunity to go up to their school that they feel even more comfortable with, their routine transportation mode, if you will, and our principals work tirelessly with the school leadership team and others, as Roy mentioned, transportation, many other departments involved to provide these instructional packets at their home campuses. This also provided our students or parents, in many cases, to see the principal, to see the assistant principal, to see the counselors, to see those staff members that they miss so dearly. And likewise, I can tell you, it did even more for those that I mentioned, the principals and the others, to be able to see their families. We will continue to do the distribution of the instructional packets at the home campuses, all 91 campuses, each Tuesday and Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Roy also mentioned this, but we, in working with transportation principals and other members of their staff, are also on the bus or a transportation department vehicle traveling to the homes of those students that we have not been able, or they have not been able to come up and pick up a packet at the campus. I wanted to make sure that they get that. And as you also heard from Roy, even with those that we're not able to deliver, then we did mail those. So I just want to give you an opportunity to kind of hear a little bit more about what is taking place. And I want to thank the principals and everyone on their staff. Obviously, our teachers, as you'll hear even more from Dr. Macias in a little bit, they're focused from 9 to 2 on educating our students. But the other staff members on the campus, you can see that they're staying quite busy in many areas as well. The other thing that I just wanted to mention is I did call out a couple of departments. I want to make sure that you're aware also with guidance and counseling, they're continuing to be available not just for our students, but also our staff as well. And then professional learning, making sure that we have everything in place for that development of the staff when that time comes. And then finally, just a shout out to the school leadership team for all they're doing to support our principals, to provide that guidance to our principals, and more than anything else, to serve our principals. At this time, I'll turn it over to Ms. Paula Ross.
Thank you, Roy. Good afternoon. With the extended closure of all schools in Texas, Technology Services began preparing to support both the needs of a remote workforce and a remote learning environment. Let me begin with identifying the Technology Services measures implemented thus far in support of our remote workforce. With the vast majority of our workforce abiding by the stay-at-home policy, both our campus main phone lines and our district office phone numbers needed to be answered remotely. If you recall, during Bond 2014, we converted the district from an analog phone system to a digital VoIP system called Cisco Unified Communication, UC for short. UC is an IP-based communication systems integrating voice, data, video, and mobility products and applications. It enables a more effective, secure communications, allowing us to transform the ways in which we do communicate. With this unified communication system, we were able to offer a new feature called Cisco Jabber. What is Cisco Jabber? This is a soft phone that delivers highly secure, clear, and reliable voice communications to our remote users. You can communicate and collaborate effectively from anywhere you have an internet connection. With Cisco Jabber, our users are able to forward the main number, answer calls, and return the calls as if they're sitting at the campus and are in their normal office space. In an attempt to answer the increased volume of calls made to our campuses, many principals adopted the following support model. One campus staff member was dedicated to checking voicemails. 2 campus staff members installed Jabber on a laptop and would provide backup support for each other answering the campus phone line. And the campus principal also installed Jabber on their cell phone. This allowed the principal to have the flexibility to check voicemails early in the morning and or later in the evening to verify that the voicemail logs do not grow significantly. As of past Thursday, we've had a total of 139 Jabber account requests and configured. Now, Technology Services was tasked with developing a variety of work from home strategies. Our business offices, such as human resources, transportation, payroll, coupled with our campuses, quickly recognized the need to access network applications that are typically available only while logged into our CFISD network. Technology Services needed to determine how we could make these applications available, but at the same time, keep our network safe and secure. Depending upon the type of access requested, we devised 3 different methods of network access to meet our users' need. The first network access is virtual private network, VPN access. This is a classic approach to providing remote access to a network from a remote location, something called VPN. This type of connection creates a secured tunnel connection into our network. Traditionally, this type of connection has been reserved for technical support staff that might need to troubleshoot a problem while at a remote location. The second method, remote access connection, or a RAP connection. RAP kits, comprised of an Aruba wireless access point, power cables, and cables needed for home connectivity, were assembled by our team. This type of solution was made available to our power users. RAP kit distribution packages were provided for our users in our Human Resources Department, Student Services, Transportation, and Finance Department. With this connection, it allows users to connect to an Aruba controller, Aruba being our wireless provider, over the internet as if they are in their office space. Additional security measures were implemented so that only Cypher devices and not personal devices were able to connect to these RAP devices, thus eliminating unknown and unverified connections. The third strategy, mycfisd.net. This is a web portal, and a web portal is a specifically designed website that brings information from diverse sources together in a uniform way. mycfisd.net is a portal that has been online and available for users for several years. In order to provide a limited level of access for some of our campus users, we moved a few of our enterprise applications to this portal. In doing so, we have implemented extra security measures to ensure that these applications are not visible nor accessible by all users. For example, a separate profile must be manually implemented in order to view these applications. And in addition, before access is granted, two-factor authentication is requested prior to gaining full access to these applications. Next, with the extended restriction on social gatherings in groups of more than 10, technology worked with our curriculum and technology support team to provide access to support virtual meetings with a product called Zoom. Zoom offers an easy-to-use tool for video conferencing and messaging across any device. Zoom is the leader in modern enterprise video communications with an easy, reliable cloud platform for video and audio conferencing, collaboration, and chat. We have seen a significant number of use cases for utilizing Zoom, such as staff meetings, teacher conferences, and today's board meeting. Currently, we have 9,522 Zoom users, with 3,415 users joining in March and April of this year. Based on daily usage reports, approximately 6,700 of these accounts get used on a regular basis. In response to recent stories in the news regarding Zoom bombing, CFISD has reviewed and modified the security settings to prevent Zoom meeting disruptions and to harden our account settings. We also provided more training, offered best practices, and information about Zoom's privacy and their compliance with laws such as FERPA, COPA, and other regulations. Now to address the remote workforce cybersecurity campaign. Scammers and criminals use every major event to invent new schemes for obtaining access to valuable data. And the COVID-19 pandemic is no different. Our cybersecurity team has assembled a variety of remote workspace, a variety of remote workforce cybersecurity tips for our users. Technology Services plans to kick off a remote workforce cybersecurity campaign, reminding our users to be on the lookout for social engineering attempts such as phishing emails or phone scams related to telework. Social engineering is when someone tries to trick you into doing something or giving away personal information. Some examples include emails from unknown accounts with strange file attachments, calls claiming to be technical staff asking for passwords, unusual web meeting requests. This campaign also includes the district's plan to address House Bill 3834 state-mandated training requirements for all school district employees. The new requirements are part of CQB Local and are on today's agenda for first reading. Technology Services currently subscribes to a cybersecurity awareness training program called Know Before. Our staff is accustomed to receiving Know Before training modules. However, in our goal to meet the requirements of HB 3834, each employee must complete 4 Know Before training modules, totaling 62 minutes of cybersecurity training. By completing these modules, our staff will begin to gain the knowledge necessary to make smarter security decisions in both their personal and professional lives. Next, I would like to transition to, next, I would like to transition and identify the technology services measures implemented thus far in support of a remote learning environment for our students. Although a great number of students have home access to both a learning device and high-speed internet, there are a significant number of students without access to a device, high-speed internet, or both. Our technology service technicians began working with campus staff to identify devices, select devices, and prepare these devices for student checkout. In preparing these devices for checkout, the latest operating system updates were applied, devices were verified to be in good working order, and the hotspots were activated and verified that the device is receiving the appropriate signal strength. Technology Services is also implementing the following: internet filtering software. Internet filtering software on our network is currently performed by our network firewalls. With these devices going home with our students, there was a need for internet filtering software to be installed locally on these devices. Number 2, device tracking software. This software has been installed on the devices, and it provides the ability to track devices both on and off our network. Number 3, the disinfection of devices prior to checkout. The following supplies were obtained from our distribution center: microfiber wipes, hospital-grade disinfectant, compressed air for blowing out our keyboards. Instructions were provided for cleaning. For example, keyboards for laptops or devices to blow out the keyboard with the compressed air and wipe with cloth dampened with the disinfectant. The outside of the laptop device was also to be wiped with a dampened cloth, and to ensure when cleaning the bottom of the device does not drip, that the solution does not drip into the vents. Screens on a laptop. Use 2 microfiber cloths. Wipe the screen with a cloth that's dampened with the disinfectant, and immediately wipe the screen again with a dry microfiber cloth. If additional items were handed out, such as power cords or cases, those are also disinfected. All staff members wore masks and gloves while disinfecting. To date, devices have been packaged either in a laptop sleeve or a sealed bag to prevent recontamination after cleaning. Coordination of checkout process with campuses. Loaner devices. Each of our campuses have a predetermined number of devices available in their libraries that are used as loaner devices. For example, our high school has 60 Chromebooks and 60 hotspots. Our middle schools have 40 Chromebooks and 40 hotspots. Our elementary have 20 Chromebooks and 20 hotspots. Technology is working with the curriculum department in distributing loaner devices according to curriculum's priority. Phase 1 were our dual credit students. There were 174 students with technology needs, whether the need was a device, a hotspot, or a combination of both. Phase 1 not only included the dual credit, it also included the advanced placement and students with special accommodations. Campuses with Lone Star dual credit classes beginning today, April 13th, all dual credit students that need a device and or hotspot were distributed last week, either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Our advanced placement and students with special accommodations, campuses also began distributing these devices last week, with the distribution to continue this week. As of Thursday of last week, there were 175 students identified as needing a device, a hotspot, or both. Our second phase is our general population needs. This is a little bit more challenging. Our campus service technicians identified the number of total devices that are available on the campus. By total, I mean extended into the classroom. On average, in an elementary campus, we have 349 Chromebooks available. In a middle school, we have approximately 167 Chromebooks available. In a high school, we have an average of 177 Chromebooks available. Before we begin to distribute to the general student population, we need to be able to identify the students that need technology, if they need a device, if they need internet access, or if they need both. Technology has worked with school leadership to create a survey that was sent to all principals last Wednesday, April the 8th, 2020. The principal has asked each teacher to fill out the survey on behalf of their students. The survey will ask if a student needs the device, needs internet, or needs both. Survey responses are due Wednesday, April 15th. Data from the surveys will be compiled by Technology Services with the goal to provide one device per household where a need was expressed. Technology Service technicians will continue to prepare the devices using the plan outlined above. Technology Service technicians will also assist the campuses with general campus distribution. One last item worth mentioning is we fully anticipate that we will exhaust our inventory of hotspots. In preparation for that, we have done the following. First, we reached out to our neighboring districts in districts within the state to see how they were addressing this need. Most districts are acquiring additional hotspots. Secondly, on our website, under frequently asked questions, is a link to Texas Education Agency's guidance to districts on providing internet to students. Most service providers are offering free internet during the COVID-19 crisis for 60 days. However, after further research, we have discovered that families must qualify for free internet, similar to our free and reduced lunch programs, and families must also provide a credit card because the service is only free for 60 days. And then after the 60 days, the families will be charged for internet connectivity. Although a family is able to pursue this type of connectivity, Technology Services is currently researching the purchase of additional hotspots. Plus, we are researching a broader, more comprehensive district solution to meet our students' needs. This completes the technology portion of our presentation, and now I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Messias.
Good afternoon, President Covey, board members, and Dr. Henry. Let me first start by just saying that we are very clear that nothing can replace in-person teacher instruction, the instruction of a CFISD teacher. And we remain committed to educating our students through the closure of our classroom because of the coronavirus. I'd like to start first by just giving you a little timeline. If I can go to the next slide, please. A little timeline, and Dr. Hendry actually alluded to this timeline. But I wanted to share with you so you could actually see it in print, a timeline of our instructional practices and the changes that happened in Cypress-Fairbanks because of the COVID-19. And actually, I'm going to go back to March 11th, and some of you may remember that. Ms. Blackshear, I know you do. That was the day that I believe the livestock show announced it was canceling for the remainder of the season. And we had students in line. Our ag students were in line with their steers ready to be shown, and they were turned around. And as that was happening, I was getting texts from our CT director and from Teresa Hall about what was happening, and we knew that instruction, as we noted in CFISD, was about to change. And so on that day, spring break ended for the curriculum and instruction team, along with many other departments. And then, as Dr. Hendry said, on March 16th, we opened that week up with extended learning resources. Even though the district was closed, we knew our parents and our students would want some type of educational support continuing. So we worked the rest of spring break, and then Monday morning on the 16th, we had extended learning resource available. And then during that week, we worked on transitioning the district from face-to-face teacher instruction to virtual learning and instructional packets. And so the following week, we opened up with virtual learning and instructional packets. And then from then on, we have been enhancing our online learning at home and our instructional packets as well. So we can go to the next slide, please. So I'd like to give you just a quick walkthrough regarding our online learning at home, because we have made some, and as I said, we've enhanced what you see on it. So Todd, if you can take us to, stop right there, Todd. So you can actually link from the district homepage to learning at home, and it takes you here to our homepage for our learning at home. You can see, if you'll scroll, Todd, you can see that stop there, please. You can see that there are many different resources that our attempt was to provide services for all of our populations in CFISD. So you can see resources there for our gifted and talented, for our deaf ed students, accommodations for students who need that, our English language learners. There's an array of support systems in there. And as you continue scrolling, you see the help desk information. We've had a lot of students who needed help with their password. So thank you to the help desk. They've done a great job helping us with that. And then as you continue scrolling, you can see the different grade levels. So Todd, can you please go into 4th grade? So when you open, it doesn't really matter what grade level it is. This is a format that you see. You see the digital curriculums, and then you see the curriculum packet. So let's go into this week 4 of the learning at home. So the first thing that you see is a suggested schedule for our parents and our students. As I've mentioned before, you see that we embedded brain breaks, we embedded reading. If you look at the bottom, you'll see that there are different resources, including dyslexia support systems. Todd, go into writing. One of the things that we've added and they've been received very well are these QR codes. And so we're going to go into writing. And if you click on the QR code or the link, you will see that we now have teachers who are teaching lessons. So they're either they're instructional staff, teachers that are actually teaching lessons now in the different content areas. So they're recorded there so that our students can are able to utilize them at any time. One of the things that we learned quickly off the bat is that we had our kids who had no internet access and no computers. But we also had families who had internet access, but had one computer, but maybe had 3 students. And so they're having to share the computer. So this allows a family to have one student using the computer in the morning and accessing the lessons, and the other one using the computer in the afternoon and accessing the lessons as well. Let's go back to the home page, Todd, and let's go to the curriculum packet. So same grade and just hit the curriculum packet. So this is our learning at home packet. This is the same packet that is being distributed at the schools now. Our parents immediately asked us if we would post them on our learning at home website. As I said, well, let me just share that initially we thought these packets were for kids who didn't have internet access or a computer. But as I mentioned, we quickly learned that there were other concerns regarding technology in the home, as I just mentioned. And you can see here that the QR codes are also embedded in the learning at home packet, the instructional packet. So if a student at least has a phone, they can scroll over the QR code with their camera, and up pops the teacher teaching the lesson as well. Todd, let's go to let's look at a high school. Let's go to 9th grade. So when 9th grade opens, if you'll stop there, you can see that again, same format. You have the digital curriculum. You have, oh, I didn't show pasting guides. Click on the week 4 pasting guides. Yes, right there. Thank you. I meant to show that in the other one. The other thing that we added were pasting guides. Our parents were wanting to see a big picture of what students should be learning during the specific week. So we added pasting guides to each of our grade levels as well. Todd, if you'll click on the 9th grade, click on the 9th grade digital curriculum. I wanted you to see that the format is very similar. It looks a little different, but you can see the suggested schedule for students that's also available at secondary right along with elementary, with different activities to be doing. You see Edgenuity is there. We're using Edgenuity for many of our courses. These courses in Edgenuity we didn't just open it up. We scoped them to the scope and sequence. So they're aligned to the scope and sequence. Another thing that we've heard about is the quizzes in Edgenuity. And just for our parents' information, we are looking at the quizzes in Edgenuity. They're telling us how our students are doing. But I also want our families to know that students can take these quizzes up to 3 times. So they can continue improving their grade if that's something that they're interested in. Todd, let's go to our K-level extensions. When we first started, we just had the general courses up. And so now we've added K-level extensions. If you'll scroll down, Todd, just a little bit. And so there are different extension activities for our K-level students beyond just the general coursework found in that course. Todd, let's go back to the homepage. And let's go to career and technology, high school. And then let's go to view science CTE courses, yes, there. And then let's go to the Advanced Plant and Soil Science week 4. And then let's hit the video lesson. So here again, even in our CTE world, are some lessons from live teachers that are teaching our students. And this one, it's plant and soil, and then also, Todd, go ahead and get out of there. Just wanted to show that there are lessons there as well. And let's go back to CTE. And let's go to curriculum activities. Let's scroll down to computer science. And let's go to computer science 3 and project-based research and activities. And let's click on the QR code. Or the link, yeah, thank you. And so I just wanted you to see that our teachers are creating different lessons and activities, even in our CTE arena. So every week we continue enhancing our learning at home site, both the online and also the instructional packets. Todd, go back to the home page. There we go. And so scroll down a little bit, and I want you to click on the technology labs. There we go, digital learning lab. So I want to remind everyone that we added our digital learning lab. It's basically a technology camp, a virtual technology camp for our students. We have it's every Thursday. We have divided by elementary, middle, and high school. And this is we're in our 3rd week with this, and each week we've had roughly about 400 students have been participating live in a digital learning lab. So I want to thank the team for providing that resource for our students. And then finally, Todd, let's go back to our homepage and let's go to story time. We added story time 2 weeks ago. It's every Friday we have a new story that is being read. This past week it was our board president, Bob Cope.
People. One day, Ramon was drawing a vase of flowers. His brother Leon leaned over his shoulder. Leon burst out laughing.
You can see that they're reading them, and they're very animated. Our CFISD Cinema, Leslie Francis group, has done a great job with supporting this initiative. So look for our third story that will be live on Friday. So brand new story and also read by one of our board members. So Todd, if you'll go on to the next slide, please. I just want to give you a little view into our learning at home. So if you go to our next slide, it says this week. So I just wanted to share with you what you'll be seeing this week. Remember, I said that that our learning at home is evolving every week. So you will see continued district lessons and QR codes for different content areas. You will see this week our teachers also delivering lessons between 9 and 2. For the most part, our teachers will be using Google Classroom or Seesaw or some other programs in the Google Suite platform. Some will also be using Zoom. But you may recall what I shared, that our kids are having to share computers many times. Our students have to share a computer many times. So with the Google Classroom and the other Google Suites and Seesaw, the teacher is able to record her lesson, and then parents can determine when students can be sharing their computers. But you will also see some Zoom. Zoom is already occurring either through as Paula Ross shared, many times through class meetings or teachers supporting students in different content areas. You'll see more courses appearing, specifically in our specialty areas. This week, we will begin grading. Now, on the TA website, TA has a whole area dedicated to COVID-19, and on there is a document titled Guidance on Grading and Graduation. And the state gives different options and suggestions regarding grading. Bullet number 1 says district may choose to delay recording of grades for a short period of time. And that's what we've done. We've delayed it for a couple of weeks to get everybody comfortable with, or as comfortable as possible with, our transition to online learning. I'll talk a little bit more on grading just a little bit. You heard Paula Ross talk about technology and the importance that we have placed on that and making sure that our students are getting what they need. Our instructional packets, our parents asked if we could post them on Sundays instead of Mondays so they could have a little head start to the week. And so we are now posting them on Sundays. And by the way, we are producing, Royce Frakes is producing somewhere around 40,000 packets. And so that's why he talked about the miles of paper that are being used for production. I will also add here that we are not only planning for August, for the new school year, but we are also planning for summer school. And because we don't know what's going to happen as far as face-to-face instruction or continued online instruction, we're planning for both. We're planning for both. And we're looking for opportunities to certainly expand summer school so that we're able to capture more students than we typically do. If you look on the TA website, you see a whole section that's dedicated to just this, instructional continuity. And in fact, I took this graphic right from their website. Basically, what this means is really 2 questions. The state is saying, is instruction continuing for students, either virtually or low tech? And what documentation or proof do you have that instruction is continuing for students? And so our teachers for a couple of weeks now, next slide, please. Our teachers for a couple of weeks now have been documenting their instructional continuity in this form, their instructional continuity monitoring form. And so all contact with students is being listed in this Excel form. It's an Excel file, and they're listing the date of the contact. We're making sure kids are either working online or the paper packet or sometimes both. We're listing what instructional supports are provided and any other information that is pertinent to the student. This is collected weekly by our principals and it's being kept on file. We're making sure that all of our students are being reached and the support systems are in place for them. Next slide, please. One of the areas that we had to work on was closing out the 3rd marking period. So you may recall that before we left for spring break, secondary had completed the 3rd marking period. Elementary had not. We were 7 weeks into the 9-week marking period. And although secondary had completed the 3rd marking period, we had cleanup to do. So we had some students that were out with the flu or other cases, and so there were some missing grades there. And so the team, and when I say the team, I'm talking about our campus teams and our teachers have been working to help the students who missed some of the critical activities or grades to help make them up so that we could have a finality to the 3rd marking period. At elementary, we are averaging the 7 grades, but this last 3rd point is very important. We are committed, our teachers are committed to making sure that anyone who is failing the third marking period, whether it be elementary or secondary, that they have an opportunity to recover a grade to a maximum of a 70, so that we can help them be able to pass the third marking period. Report cards will be available through the Home Access Center beginning April 20th. And so parents, that you can start looking for that through the Home Access Center. We are not going to be mailing out report cards at the secondary as we typically do, and at elementary we hand them out. So we're not going to be doing this at this time, just for an additional precaution for the COVID-19. But if any parent just needs to have that paper copy, they can contact the school and we'll make sure that they get one. Next slide, please. So weekly grades. So let's talk about the fourth reporting period. That's where we're in right now. And so the goal is to monitor student progress and understanding of the text. So weekly grades during the fourth marking period will provide teachers with the opportunity, as I said, to monitor the progress and monitor the text. This is important too. All of it's important. I want to highlight this. All seniors of the class of 2020 who are in danger of not earning credits for graduation will be academically monitored during this time period and providing opportunities for success. So there were no grades taken prior to marking during this time, prior to April 13th, prior to today. Before that, we wanted students and teachers and parents, as I've said before, to have the opportunity to be able to gain some familiarity and stability with online remote learning options and the digital platform, and also our online instructional platform and our instructional packets. So for elementary and secondary both, you will be seeing 1 grade per week in each content area subject that's taught. Weekly grades are going to be taken over content aligned to the pacing guides posted each week on the online learning at home and instructional packets. So that's the content that will be evaluated. What you see right now on our online system and the packets. So we'll probably be taking at this time about 6 grades per course for the fourth marking period. And I've been using the phrase "at this time" because everything changes. You know, Dr. Henry said, we don't know we're coming back March 4th. We might, so this may change. And then all grades are going to be weighted equally. And by that, I mean, we're not going to have a test grade that is worth more than a daily grade. All grades will have the same value. And we will not be having final exams for the spring of 2020. I also want to encourage students, parents, if you have any questions about the online learning resources or the instructional packets, to please make sure that you're contacting your school, that you're talking to the teachers as they're making contact with you on a weekly basis. Everyone is here to support our students and to make sure the learning continues. Next page, please. So what about calculating spring semester averages and GPA? And I know some of you may have seen and have heard that other districts have already posted some information online. We are continuing to work on this. We have principals and district team committee that are looking at all the criteria for the spring semester averages and all of the implications for all of our students. So we are waiting until March 4th to see if we're going to return to face-to-face teacher instruction before we roll out a plan on how the spring semester averages will be calculated and what the impact is on GPAs. And you know, there are many impacts on our students. Everything from NCAA guidelines and opportunities for our students. We have students that are still working towards trying to reach that 2.3 so that they'll be eligible for NCAA purposes. The one thing that we want to make sure as we're working on our plan is that it is not penalizing students. And so that is our first priority and goal. Obviously, this is more complicated as we talk about high school because of GPA, and districts calculate GPA different. They're just different from district to district. But the implications, just so you know, we're not just talking about high school. We're talking about implications all the way down from freshman level, sophomore level, everything from if we don't take a grade for the fourth reporting period, if we don't use the semester average for the second semester, there are implications. You'll have some students who have L-level required courses like PE and PACE in their transcript. You'll have others that won't have it. So there are implications all across the board. So we are working vigilantly with our teams to make sure that we come up with a plan that is in the best interest of all students and that we are not penalizing students. That concludes my presentation, my part of the presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Macias. I'm going to correct you on one because I don't think you meant March the 4th. I think you meant May. We're not going to wait till next March, right?
That is correct. It is May 4th. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Hey, board members, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start with Dr. Macias. And I'm going to go to each one and ask you if you have questions that you'd like to pose to Dr. Macias. And we'll work our way back through all of the presentations. Okay. So we're going to start with Julie this time. Julie, do you have something for Dr. Macias?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Macias. I know your team is working so hard. I know it is very complex and complicated, and I appreciate all of your efforts. I did it was helpful to see how the teachers are gathering information to this point. And this information did clear up some questions I had. This morning, first thing, I started receiving emails from all the teachers for my children. And this helped fill in some of the gaps. There was one, I did see a comment from one of our teachers that if not completing an assignment would result in a 0 for that grade, and that concerns me. I'd rather see an incomplete versus a 0. So that's just a comment I want to make in terms of how we're sending communication out to our parents and how we're documenting progress.
Ms. Heineman, as I shared, we just rolled out the grading as you heard, and so we'll continue working with our campus leaders so that they can work with their teachers. But as I mentioned, the priority is that we are supporting all kids and we're not penalizing them for this reporting period.
And I do appreciate that. That's where I'd rather see an incomplete versus a 0, because we know not all students will be able to complete every assignment. I also, and I do appreciate that we want to make sure that no students that students are held harmless during this time, because we know even if they do have access to computer technology at their house, they may be sharing it with their parents, as you said, sharing it with siblings, or not have access at all. How are students who are receiving instruction only through paper packets, how would they be submitting assignments to be graded?
So this is new for our teachers as well, because they're in a whole different arena as well. And so we're working with our leaders to work and with our teachers to talk about different opportunities for assessing kids through the phone. So it may not be something online that they are doing, but they can assess the online activity via the phone, asking some questions via the phone to assess the student's learning and understanding. Possibly if the student has a phone, they may have completed a portion of the online of the instructional packet, or an activity that is aligned with the instructional packet, and possibly they take a picture of it. and send it in. So we are looking and providing our principals with different opportunities to be able to assess kids that is out of the norm as to what our teachers are accustomed to.
And just to make sure I heard you correctly, the reason why we are starting to take grades is because the TEA is asking us to document that learning is taking place.
TEA has provided a guidance on grading. And so there are different opportunities that they have provided, fewer grades, for example. But the one thing that they continue to share is that we have to be showing that students are accessing the learning and that learning is continuing. And then districts like us have to take that information back and look at all the different implications that apply to all of our students in the district.
Right. And obviously, I know one of the things you're looking at is how does this impact where students are placed in the fall or for summer school opportunities. So you'll be using this data also not just to give a grade, but also to say where are the gaps that are happening and where we put kids either in summer school and or place them in the fall. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. So when we're making placement decisions at the end of this school year, we will be looking at not just grades, but also teacher input. And then we'll also be gathering information regarding what students have we not contacted. Right. For whatever reasons. And then we're working on our scope and sequence already for the next school year to see how we're going to compact the instruction to make sure that we are covering what was missed during this last reporting period, and that we're able to embed it into our curriculum at the very beginning of the year. And then also decisions about providing tutoring from the very beginning for students to make sure that we're bridging the gaps right along with summer school.
I appreciate that. I know what's most important, the most important part of that is just tracking those kids. There's so many kiddos that we may have not made contact with, or we have very limited contact with. And those are the kids that I worry about the most, how we're going to keep track of them and then help them as we bridge to the next school year. Is there any risk that someone would be held back or not progress to the next grade?
We're going to minimize that as much as possible, Ms. Heineman. We're going to be giving students every opportunity to be successful in the fourth grading period and in the semester by providing additional opportunities for activities.
Okay, thank you.
Am I in here? Just to add to what Dr. Macias said, just in general terms, what the approach we're taking, Ms. Heineman, is kind of what's called the Hippocratic Oath, which is do no harm. So that's our goal. This fourth grading period is to do no harm to any student.
Thank you.
Dr. Ogletree.
Yes, thank you. One of the questions I have for our students who are at our ALC campuses, if let's say if we're able to go back to norm May 1st, will they still have to complete their time at the ALC campuses, or even if we don't open back up until August 24th, how are they handled with their discipline?
Dr. O, Dr. Stewart can answer that question for you. Can we give Dr. Stewart, can we unmute her, please?
She's there.
Thank you. Dr. Ogletree, all of those students' days are counting every day. So from their assignment date until that date is over, their dates are counting. So by the end of school, based on our calculation, if it's not a new placement, all those students will have served their time and back on their campus. Coupled with that, campuses have the opportunity, as always, to amend those placements. So they may decide that they want a student, to receive instruction from the home campus and not the DAEP. But we feel confident that the instruction that's being provided at the DAEP is appropriate. They're certified teachers. They work collaboratively with the home campus, and they'll continue to do so. So they will not have to start those placements over. Their days are being counted right now. just as they are at the JJAEP. For elementary, fortunately, we do not have any students in elementary assigned to SOS, so we don't have that concern.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
In addition, Linda, as I understand, with our online curriculum, every section, every class has a set of instructions. Have we received any feedback from parents on the how convenient or easy it is for them to negotiate and understand and apply all those instructions because there's a set for everything?
Dr. Ogletree, we have gotten some parent input regarding our online system. Not a lot, I'll tell you, but we have received some. Our parents are trying to navigate through this as well. Our parents are trying to figure out how they can be a teacher at home and also now having to work at home. In fact, I shared with you the different scenarios regarding a computer. Sometimes when there was one computer for students to use, all of a sudden now there are no computers because the parent is having to use it at home. Mm-hmm. And so we've answered questions for parents about how to navigate. We've called several of them, quite a few of the parents actually that have sent us emails, not understanding or not having, most of the calls have been, or the emails have been about access. How do I gain access? And so we've talked about that. Some of the emails have been about, my student is finishing this in an hour. Well, no, you can't finish in an hour. There's a lot in there to be able to do. So we were asking now the campus to contact the parent and guide them through how to help their student process or proceed through the online learning.
Thank you. One last, and then so I let the other board members. I believe you stated that is the digital learning lab now this on Thursdays. We have 400 students. You gave a number of 400. Was that what the digital?
Yes, we've had about 400 that have been joining each week.
What is our goal for that? Because with the amount of students we have, I know that's a low number. What is our goal for that? And how do we get it there?
We're continuing to publicize it's basically a technology camp. So it's optional. So it's in addition to all the learning that's available and that students need to be taking access in the online learning at home or also the instructional packets. So this is something extra. It's like parents choosing camp for their students. The capacity is endless, to give you an answer, Doctor. So we are continuing to promote it through social media, and we hope that those numbers continue to grow.
Okay.
It's an extra.
All right. Thank you. That's it, Bob.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ryan?
Yeah, those are some great questions by Julie and also by John. So those are answered. But I'm curious, Linda, we've got, although it's a small segment of our population that's severely challenged students, what are we doing with those? Because I know just when they're on campus, there's you can have one student with 2 to 3 caregivers and teachers. What's the state mandating in that area, and then what are we doing in that area?
We have not been released of, and we shouldn't be released of the responsibility of teaching all students, including our students who are needing accommodations and special ed services. And so immediately as we began developing our learning at home online system and the instructional packets, that was a huge focus. So we make sure that we are providing support and accommodations. For example, there's a packet for life skills. There's curriculum available for life skills students. We are continuing to provide accommodations through every form that we can. We have curriculum for our vital students, the 18+ students as well, and our deaf ed students. We're providing IEPs for our students now via Zoom and conference calls. So there are times where we may not be able to match exactly what the IEP calls, like you shared, Mr. Ryan, 2 paras to a student, but we're having conversations with parents and we're calling them on a regular basis to make sure that we're making the instructional support and changes that are needed during this time to meet the needs of our students.
Marnie, would you care to add anything to that?
Am I?
You're on.
Okay, I was just told I am unmuted. So yes, Dr. Macias summarized it well. And I think the emphasis, Dr. Henry, that you might be looking for is that we are meeting the needs of the students in the current learning environment. And so, Dawn, you're exactly right. In a traditional school setting with in-person instruction where we have students matriculating through the day, sometimes, at secondary level, making 6 to 7 transitions, they require different levels of support. In our current learning environment, that all students are in a current online learning environment, we have then taken the additional layer to say for our students that need accommodations, they were within that first wave of students, for instance, who, if they needed technology, they were at the front of the line, along with our kiddos who were seeking college credit for those courses through AP or dual credit. And so each campus, say the special ed manager, typically case manager at the secondary level, the high school teacher supervisor, who's the equivalent of like the assistant principal over special education at secondary, and then of course instructional specialists and those individuals at the elementary. What they're doing is they're taking even that smaller sub-pop of our students with disabilities and checking in on them individually. And for instance, the curriculum has embedded in it check for understanding, and we have accommodations built in that if you, in a resource setting, you might have the lesson and then you may have support where you're pulled to check for understanding and to have the opportunity to have reduced assignments or some of those things. Well, in the online platform, we're able to embed some of that. And so the shortened assignments, that's embedded in the online curriculum. The check for understanding, the programs will stop. They will allow the student to, they'll ask some comprehension type questions. And so those types of accommodations are being built in. And then some of the other accommodations that are needed for in-person instruction are not as applicable through the online learning. So we task each campus and the individuals identified to look at our students. Barb Lewandowski, our new assistant superintendent for special education. Well, I think it's got a fancier title than that because she has more than special ed, but she's been fabulous leading her team. Laurie Barnes, we have one of the best, if not the best, special ed directors in the state, and they've been working with our coordinators over pupil appraisal, Dr. Schluter, our psychologist. We've come up with Kim Tanner over our speech pathologist. We've quickly ramped up, and we have like the telehealth type services for those kiddos that need the one-on-one. For instance, those that were getting one-on-one psychological services. Dr. Schluter's got that up and going. Tanner has got our speech services up and going. And so those folks are doing that. I've attended a couple of IEP meetings myself where we've not been able to equate directly the student's IEP, for instance, with what we're doing. So we've been able to go in, schedule those IEP meetings, tweak where we need to tweak, and move on from there. Dawn, you like my yes or no answers, and that's not a yes or a no answer, but I appreciate your question. It was one of the first questions on Dr. Macias's mind and mine, and that's why within that first week that we were online instructing, or I guess closed but instructing, the TEA status, Barb, Laurie, some of those ladies that I mentioned, Dr. Macias, we all met, put our heads together, and special ed students were really one of our, if not our biggest priority through this process. But good question.
Thank you, Marnie. And really the reason I asked the question is that we do such a good job as a district of meeting the needs of every student. And so that wasn't really discussed, and I just wanted to make sure that that was brought kind of to the forefront, that every student's needs are still being met. And Bob, I don't know if this, I think it might fall under Linda, but it kind of intertwines amongst everybody. Is that when Roy Sprague was talked about all the packets that are being delivered and everything, and I think he mentioned like 92 packets might have to be made or that were mailed. Do we have a rough idea of the actual coverage we have of our students, or are we able to account for everyone and make sure everyone's actually getting the material in some form or fashion? Like, I don't know if we mail something out to a family and then we just kind of hope they get it, or how we follow up in those regards, or if that's done on each individual campus where maybe the teacher's following up.
Linda's got it? Okay. Never mind. Linda's got it.
Okay.
Linda's going to answer you.
Actually, I believe Roy Sprague or Roy Garcia could answer that regarding the mailing of the packets and how that's coming back.
Well, no, not just the mailing. Wait, not just the mailing of the packet. I just want to make sure that we're like, are we at 100% outreach to our students, whether it be through online, whether it be through pickup packets, or whether it be from mail packets, or do we know the percentage?
Linda, talk a little bit about the instructional continuity monitoring. I think that's where Don's going.
So if you recall that form that I shared with you, the instructional continuity monitor, that is contact that we're making with students. And so from that form, we are going to be able to gauge, Mr. Ryan, which students we have not been able to have any contact with. The packets that were delivered to homes, that information came from teachers collecting and talking to parents and students, and then documenting it on the instructional continuity form. So we will know which students we have not made any contact with at all. We're still gathering that information, but we will have that information once we compile our Excel information that all teachers are utilizing and inputting the information.
Okay, perfect. And I don't want my questions to imply that I don't think that we're doing that. I think y'all are doing a great job, especially and like Dr. Ogletree and I were talking before the meeting, in all the years that he and I have been on the board, this is nuts. But y'all have done a great job during this entire process, and I'm extremely grateful. And I know that our students are going to benefit from all the efforts that y'all have made. So thank you.
Ms. Blackshear, you're up, Ms. Blackshear.
Yes, my question kind of, one of them was piggy tails with Don's, in that I was wondering if we were gathering data from the campuses of how many students we've not been able to have contact with, because that's been a concern of mine as well. I know we're doing everything humanly possible, but I have a concern about those students who don't have access to a computer, or may not have, say, the parental support at home to encourage them to do the classwork. Let's see, I had another question, Linda. Are all the classroom teachers doing one Zoom class a week with their students, or is it just happening more so with the elementary age students?
Starting this week, Ms. Blackshear, all teachers will be providing a lesson for students. Okay. Not necessarily in Zoom, like I shared before. It might be in the Google Classroom or in Seesaw or some other format that we have through the Google Suites. As I mentioned before, many parents need that flexibility of being able to have one student use a computer in the morning, another student use a computer in the afternoon. And so being able to record the lesson provides that opportunity for parents.
Okay. I know my grandchildren's teachers have all been great in providing their cell phone numbers to the parents in case students have questions. And I'm really glad to hear that we're going to start taking one grade a week because, you know, that holds the students accountable as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Macias, for all your department is doing. It's just like I said earlier in my board comments, it's just everyone is working together for the benefit of our students. And I'm just so proud of our school district and how we've reached out. I've heard from some friends across the state who their grandkids are not having the type of experiences and support that our students are receiving. And it definitely comes from the top and filters down, but it's, thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. Mr. Jackson. We go to Mr. Jackson.
Yes,
Mr. Jackson.
I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can. And now
Okay,
I can
good.
see you.
That may be even better, I guess. First, I'd like to say that I appreciate the very cautious and thoughtful and balanced approach that we're taking toward providing both instruction as well as from a grading perspective. You're utilizing the beta concept in your rollout, which I strongly endorse and applaud as well. I know for many of our campuses, we all strive for at least 90% attendance, as well as that magic goal of reaching 95% attendance. And I know that with distance learning, which is what this is, we will have similar goals, and it will be interesting as we continue on this educational adventure. But I want to say thanks for what y'all are doing. This is a massive battleship to turn around, and I think the cautious approach is the best. We don't need to rush to judgment on this. It does occur to me, and you hinted at this last board meeting, Linda, but let me be a little more specific. It seems to me as if we have the technology here and we are educating our teachers across the board on the use of the technology, that should any of our teachers want to be a little more aggressive at flipping their classrooms once we return to classrooms, will we still have this technology available to them to use in that regard?
Mr. Jackson, the technology that we're using right now has been available to our teachers. The challenge was pulling everything together in a platform, because we currently do not have a program to pull it all together in one platform. We have a curriculum management system, but that does not allow us to provide lessons and activities and push them out to our students. Next month, we hope to bring to you a platform that would have made all this just a little easier to be able to push out the activities and the lessons to our students. And then we hope to continue using through summer school and beyond, and reaching more students.
And we haven't touched on it because it's a small percentage, but I presume that we're also able to utilize this platform to reach our NAC children as well as all of our bilingual children. You touched on a little bit of this last board meeting, but if you would just comment very briefly once again in this area for this board meeting.
Absolutely. The lessons, first of all, for our bilingual students, as you know, we teach heavily in 50% of our time in Spanish, in pre-KK and first grade, and some in second as well. And so all of that curriculum is both in English and in Spanish. If you look at the Learning at Home online site, you'll see the Espanol next to every section of the curriculum. For our NACS kids, our instruction is in English, as you know. And so again, there are packets for our NAC kids, there are packets for our bilingual kids in English and in Spanish, as well as the online resources for them.
And just to conclude, on the grading, I appreciate that you're taking your time to think all the way through it, because grading has tremendous ramifications. And whatever decision you'll make, not all parents will be happy with it, and we already understand that. But I think taking the slow and cautious approach is the best way to make certain that we make the grading as fair as possible. And we also are not assessing grades based on privilege or simple access. So thank you. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Mr. Gilbert Sarabia.
Yes, Bob, my question's for Deborah with HR. Can I ask that question now?
You can, but we're going to go through and talk to each one individually unless you want to go ahead and ask it now.
It's up to you, whatever you want to do.
Do you have anything for Dr. Macias?
No, it's for Deborah, but I'm very happy with Linda's.
Can you hold your question for Deborah till we get to her?
I sure can. You just let me know when.
Okay. Dr. Macias, again, thank you. That was a great presentation. And I only have one brief question because I think everybody else asked them all. I was not familiar with the digital learning labs, and maybe you said it and I didn't hear it. Is that for all levels, or is that specifically secondary? What is that?
Think of it as a technology camp that you might send your students or grandchildren to in the summer. We offer technology camps in the summer. So now we're offering it virtually for students. There's an elementary time, there's a middle school time, and there's a high school time. This is not part of the learning at home curriculum. It is an extra. It is, like I said, it is like if you want to send your child to camp and pay for it, in this case, it's free. It's free and it's online for students.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's what I needed. Next up, we're going to be talking with Paula Ross about technology. And I'm going to start with Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson, where did you go? Mr. Jackson? There he comes. No, where is he?
All y'all income free. What?
Won't you
okay.
Go to someone else?
All right, then we're going to go to Debbie. Debbie, we'll start with you. Do you have anything from Ms. Ross?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Mr. Ryan, do you have anything from Ms. Ross?
No, great job. I was just impressed by everything. And actually, it's kind of nice if you get a technology presentation to be sitting next to someone that knows something. So I've got Katie here who it was like Paula was talking in Spanish, then it was translated through Katie to me. She had to dumb it down. It's awesome. We're killing it in this room.
Thank you.
And she actually could dumb it down for you, okay?
Oh, yeah. Hey, it was hard. She was able to pull it off.
That was awesome. Okay.
But
all right, Dr. Ogletree, do you have anything from Ms. Ross?
Ms. Ross, you indicated that we were looking to acquire additional hotspots. Is that ongoing now, or will you wait until the decision is made whether this status will continue past May 1st?
No, sir. We started obtaining quotes last week for additional hotspots. So as I indicated, the demand for the hotspots was pretty great. So we went ahead and have our name in the queue with a couple of providers.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ogletree. Ms. Heineman, do you have something for Ms. Ross?
First, I want to say thank you to Ms. Ross and her team. They have done a fantastic job. I think a lot of us, we pay attention to technology when it doesn't work, and we forget that 99% of the time it's working fantastically for those who have access to it. So thank you to you and your team.
Thank you.
It was very helpful to understand, we see sometimes in the media, school districts just, handing out laptops to kids and they drive away with a laptop, and we don't realize the complexity of that. And I appreciate you protecting our assets that we have spent taxpayer dollars on. by ensuring that they have tracking software, that they have internet filtering software, so that we're not exposing kiddos to things that they should not be exposed to through our devices. So I appreciate that you've taken that time to put those safeguards in place, not just for the students, but also for our district assets. I did have a question. So I want to make sure I understood phase 1, where we're providing technology support, was for dual credit students because they need to have that to get their college credit. AP students because they're getting ready to take those tests, and those are only available online. And that's also for college credit. And then students with special accommodations. And I also had questions about our special ed students. So I'm glad to see that they're included in that first phase of technology support. Ms. Ross, you said that was 175 students that received devices or hotspots in phase 1. Is that correct?
That there were 175 students that have been identified, and
Okay.
we're working closely with Dr. Macias's team to obtain those numbers, and then with the campuses to pass out those devices.
Okay, and then how do we? And so you're still working on the plan for how those devices will actually be distributed once those students are identified.
I think the plan is in place and those devices are ready. It's just a matter of reaching out to those students and defining a time to come pick up the device.
Okay, if students cannot come and pick up the devices, can we also utilize the system we already have in place for distributing packets to also distribute devices to those students' homes?
That is correct. I'll let Dr. Macias speak to that, but I believe Barbara Lewandowski is working with transportation to distribute some of the special ed devices.
Okay.
We've already, am I on?
There you are.
Ms. Heineman, we've already begun doing that, and especially for our special ed population. When a device is requested, then our special ed staff is contacting the parent and the special ed caseworker and working together to identify that need is there. And then if a parent can't come forward, then we're already delivering the device with the help of the transportation department.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad that Mr. Ryan asked a question about special education, because I know, we think about how stressful this is for parents, and for those parents who relied on the school district for services for their children. They're now having to try to provide that at home themselves, and they may be working, either outside the home or inside the home, but then also now caring for their child who has extra challenges. So my heart just hurts and feels for those parents who are trying to balance all that and care for their children. And when we provided so much to those kiddos from, 7:30 in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they were getting services. And now the parents are challenged with that at home. And so I appreciate that we're doing everything we can to support those parents. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Gilbert Sarabia, would you have anything from Ms. Ross?
Ms. Ross, great job. Same thing, Linda, great job. Moving along.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Roy Garcia. Okay, so I'm going to start with Debbie. Debbie, do you have anything for Roy Garcia?
No, I don't.
Okay. Don, do you have anything for Roy Garcia?
No.
No. Okay. John, do you have anything for Roy Garcia?
I do not.
Okay. Julie, do you have anything for Roy Garcia?
I just want to ask him to pass along our thanks to the principals who are holding down the fort, while also probably teaching their own kids at home, and making sure that, especially getting those packets out to their students. That means a lot. So thank you to those principals.
Okay. All right. Gilbert, do you have anything for Mr. Roy Garcia?
Love his messages on Twitter.
To what?
Love his messages on Twitter.
Oh, thank you, Gilbert.
Thank you, Gilbert.
Tom, are you bike? Where is he? Mr. Jackson bike?
I got moved, Bob.
You did. There you are.
Well, I got kicked off the system twice. I think I was asking too many questions and making too many comments. That's one way to keep me quiet, I guess, right?
You got a real nice portrait behind you there, a painting. Tom, we have talked to Paula and Roy Garcia. God bless him. Didn't get many questions. Do you have anything for Paula or Roy Garcia?
I do not. Kudos to Paula. I know cybersecurity is a major initiative, and I want to applaud the district. We had a cybersecurity officer before the state required us to do so. And in cybersecurity, once again, we were ahead of the curve. And I just want to make that acknowledgement that the work that the district does, even if we don't comment on it, it does not go unnoticed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you. Real quick, Paula, I apologize. I didn't even make my statement. I was real proud of myself because I'm certainly challenged on technology, but our family was Zooming the other day, and I understand that there was hacking happening with Zoom, and you even addressed it. So there's no surprises for you. You know it all.
I don't know about that.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you. Next up is Mr. Roy Sprague, and I'm going to start with Mr. Don Ryan. Don, do you have anything for Roy?
No, I'm good.
You're okay. Mr. John Ogletree, anything?
No questions.
Okay. Ms. Heineman, do you have anything for Roy?
No, just say thanks to all the facilities teams and everybody keeping those projects on track, on schedule.
Thank you.
Gilbert, do you have anything for him?
No, keep working, Roy. Great weather.
Absolutely.
Tom, do you have anything for Roy Sprague?
All good, Bob. Thank you.
Okay. Debbie, do you have anything for Roy Sprague?
No, thank you.
Okay. Roy, all I'm going to say is I did drive by Rowe Middle School, and it's really looking great. I'm very proud of y'all.
Excited about it.
That's pretty impressive. Okay, next one up was Christine on health. And so I'm going to start with Dr. Ogletree. Dr. Ogletree, do you have anything for Christine?
Christian.
No.
Christian.
Okay.
No.
Christian, sorry. Okay, Julie, do you have anything for Christian?
No questions. Thank you.
Okay, Gilbert, do you have anything for Christian?
Great informative answers. Great job.
Okay, Tom, do you have anything for Christian?
On health, we talked about the screening for our individuals who are involved in food service and food delivery. I presume that for the skeletal staff that we have at each of our campuses, that we have a similar type protocol that we're following. Is that correct?
That is correct. Anybody that is on campus during the event can be screened by the nurse.
Well, more than can be, we are screening.
Not necessarily. We expect our staff to follow the social distancing and to be responsible to stay home if they do exhibit symptoms. It is up to the campus principals if they want to implement the screening for all their staff members or not. And the screening questionnaire can be mailed out to any staff member that is coming onto the campus the night before, so they can begin to self-assess and determine whether they are fit to come to the campus or not. This does not take place of the actual in-person screening by the nurse, but it is a way for us to do the pre-screening to prevent potentially ill staff members to come on campus.
Very good. I brought this up in the private conversation with Mark and Marty and Teresa, and then I also briefly touched on this at the last board meeting. So our protocol is being handled by the principal on each of the campuses, and so I trust campus leadership to be appropriately sensitive to the question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Blacksher, do you have anything for Christiane?
I do, and I guess it's probably Christiane that I should ask this question of. If not, I know you'll redirect me. But do we have data of the number of either staff or students with COVID-19 in our district?
We do have some cases in our area, as it is a reportable condition. Not all are reporting to us. I've been in close contact with our Harris County Health Department, and at this time, they're not requiring us to collect that data until we are ready to return back to school. And we are already working on a re-entry protocol, if you will, that will address that, where everyone will have to fill out the survey to make sure that we're all healthy when we do return.
Right.
So I can give you some numbers on cases in the northwest area of Harris County, but I do not have any concrete data of our specific school district area.
Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Mr. Ryan, do you have anything?
No.
Okay. Still awake?
Yeah, we're all right in here. Struggling a little bit.
Okay. Next up is Ms. Stewart and Gilbert. I know you have a question for her.
Yes, thank you very much, Bob. Deborah, first of all, I want to let everybody know what a report by everybody. Just a great report. And being the rookie player here on the school board, what a school board. You guys ask so many good questions that by the time most of the questions comes up, I'm learning to just keep my mouth shut and let you guys ask. And y'all don't guys, if I don't get the answer by then, I'm in amazement. Great job, school board. And great answers by all the personnel getting asked questions. Y'all have everything well taken care of, and I appreciate that. For Deborah, you had challenges throughout the year, especially with the pre-K hiring at the beginning of the year and trying to get everybody lined up for January and everything else. And now, as Tom alluded to, we had layoffs throughout the whole area of Harris County and throughout and stuff. And before this epidemic started, I know the district was in need of employees in different areas and stuff. Are you going to find it challenging at this time when we do get a chance to come back to do the hiring? I know you had some fairs going on there and everything about what was going to be going on for hiring and stuff. But it looks like an opportune time, unfortunately, that we can get back to our numbers that we need throughout the district and the different departments. Are you confident in us going into the fall, maybe getting back up to par and filling our jobs and really helping out the community?
Absolutely. We are not anticipating a negative opportunity to continue to hire. As was shared earlier, we are continuing to fill those vacancies for right now if we need them. And for our teacher vacancies, we are right now continuing that process of hiring. We have a virtual platform, so principals are able to interview candidates online. We are still offering contracts and moving forward with our hiring process. For our virtual career fair, we feel confident that we'll be able to recruit those applicants that we have had in the past virtually. So we are not anticipating a lull in our hiring process, our ability to do so.
Right. I know there was a need during the school year for substitutes throughout the district. And hopefully, did you see this maybe helping that need?
Well, right before the spring break, we addressed that issue. We were able to clean out old data with substitutes that were not working. We were able to process our substitute applications and feel like we are ready and on board to move along that process. And currently, we are still hiring substitutes. If a principal feels like she needs a substitute in place, then those substitutes are being contacted and hiring to support the students on campuses. All of those are not all, but long-term substitutes who were in classrooms and the teachers of record, they are still following that same process.
Well, that's good news. It's great news all the way around. It's very refreshing knowing that our community is hurting right now, and we are, like Dr. Mark says, that the community seems to be based around our school district, and that we're here in time of need throughout, serving all the thousands of meals, and actually going to be hiring some of these unemployed people, unfortunately, that just are in their situation now. Hopefully we can come around and help them out. And
yes, sir.
That's what I was trying to get at with you, Deborah. I appreciate everything you've done. Y'all have done a great job, and that goes out to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arabia. Mr. Jackson, do you have anything for Ms. Stewart?
I do not. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Blacksher, do you have anything for Ms. Stewart?
No, thank you.
Mr. Jackson, do you have any questions for Ms. Stewart?
Well, I get a second chance, but the first time, not right now. Thank you.
What did I say? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, well, Tom, I just haven't seen you in your picture frame very much. Okay, Mr. Ryan, do you have anything from Ms. Stewart?
No.
Dr. Ogletree, do you have anything from Ms. Stewart?
Yes, I sure do. I'd like to ask this several questions. What, Dr. Stewart, do we lose with a virtual interview platform? If anything, what do we lose with a virtual platform? Also, if we stay in this thing long, are we adding anything to our assessment tools to assess a candidate, a teacher? We can start with that.
So, and Sharita can chime in, but just as Linda said about instruction, truly we value face-to-face interviews and always take that opportunity to engage with candidates face-to-face. So if we were to lose anything, it's that opportunity. But virtual interviews, we do that often for candidates who cannot travel to our area. We do that as pre-screening. So because our supervisors have been using this virtual platform for some time now, if there's anything, it is that face-to-face interaction that you can't get. But we call them, we have an opportunity to talk and engage just as we're doing now. And so we are feeling pretty confident that we'll be able to continue to select great candidates. And can you remind me of your second question?
Have we added anything to our assessment tools to get the candidate, the employee that we want or desire during this time?
So as you know, this is a fluid process, and because it appears that we are going to be in this mode longer than we thought, the HR team is at this time looking at other opportunities, and that's what we're doing with our virtual career fair. What is it that we need to do? Are we lacking anything to make sure that we can reach out and interview those? I'm sorry, I was distracted by Mr. Ryan's screen. And make sure that we can continue to interview those candidates. So we are investigating and researching that ongoing.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. I apologize.
I don't know how you do it, Mr. Ryan, but somehow, even in silent mode, you affect the meeting.
It's crazy.
Ms. Heineman, do you have anything?
Yes, Dr. Stewart, I have actually 3 questions that all go together. The first one is, how many students have we not been able to make contact with? And then if we've not been able to make contact with them, what else are we doing to reach them? And then the third thing is knowing that as this continues on, the status of students may change. So our teachers reached out to students, talked to them early in the process, because I know I received those calls like, how's your family? Do you have access? What do you need? But knowing that their needs change, is there another checkpoint? I mean, I know our teachers are talking with our students each week or trying to. Are we going to continue tracking to see if as students' needs change, maybe they have to go live with a relative or they lose access to technology? Are we still going to capture that and then make sure we add them to our list? Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. The Office of Student Services, along with other departments, are working daily with those campus principals to identify students that are unreachable. So they're calling, emailing, sending mailers out, delivering packets, mailing packets. And at some point for those students, and I don't have an exact number, that they are not able to make contact with in any of those modes, we're using our attendance officers. And our attendance officers will be knocking on doors, putting on flyers, waiting outside the home to see if someone shows up, because maybe the students are somewhere else during the day at a grandparent's or some other place while parents are working and they're home in the evening. So they have a toolkit that they use to identify and locate kids always. And we'll be using some of those same strategies to find those students. And it's an ongoing process because, as you said, a campus could have constant contact and communication with the student. They lose that information or lose that ability. They're to contact Dr. Ogumake and Dr. J. Simpson Butler, and then we are on it. We are developing a Let's Find You student plan. So we're taking care of those kids that disappear off the radar or have not been on our radar.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think about some of the kiddos that I interact with on some of our campuses through the mentor program, and I worry about if we've made contact with them and where they are, because sometimes they were sort of transient during a regular school year, and now I worry about us being able to find them. So thank you for all your efforts to find those kiddos and to reach them.
Thank you.
Ms. Stewart, I do have a couple of questions. With the colleges closing early as they have, has that affected our ability to hire from potential graduates?
It has not. We are working on those colleges to give us input on, and all of them are working just as we are to make sure that those students are able to graduate, that they're able to somehow complete their student teacher assignment. So we're working with them, and they are working as we are to make sure that those students are able to graduate.
Okay, good. And one final question, and I could be off the mark on this, but if I remember correctly, on the homeless situation with kids, that if they were students, they were full-time students, let's say in Katy, but they ended up having to live with a relative in Cypress-Fairbanks, we would bus them over to Katy, and then Katy would send them back to us or vice versa. Is that something that's still going on? And I guess I'm thinking that some of these kids may be being lost between the two districts.
So in our homeless department, all of those students who are homeless, we are reaching out to each and every one of them with our homeless staff here at Central Office and our counselors who are assigned to those students on those campuses. So each of them will have more than one personal opportunity that we're reaching out to them. So those students who live in our district but receive instruction from Katy teachers, that should still take place. The same vice versa. If for some reason they're living in Katy and they were being bused to Cypress-Fairbanks, then we are providing them instruction online. And we're reaching out to them to make sure that we're not losing those connections. We're reaching out to our homeless shelter, so as they receive new students, that we are making sure that they are connected to their campus and receiving instruction.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Stewart. I do appreciate it. To all of you, this has been an exceptional report, and it has answered so many questions that have come up at different times. I know to each and every one of us, and we're extremely proud of the work that y'all put into this. This is an amazing effort on your part, and it's for all 118,000 students and all of our employees. And I'm speaking for the board and saying thank you. Thank you for the report, and thank you for everything that you've done.
Could I?
Yes.
Mr. Covey, just to put one bow on it, that a group that hasn't been mentioned, but that really has been crucial in our meal delivery and our packet delivery and keeping an eye out on all of our campuses is CFPD. So certainly appreciate our police department. They're continuing to serve every day and taking care of our assets and taking care of our families.
Thank you. Thank you. The board will now proceed with the consensus action items portion of the agenda. Action item 5A, the board will consider approving the minutes of the March 5th, 2020 regular board meeting. May I have a motion?
No.
Ms. Blackshear, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Do we have any cause of questions or concern? Then we'll say, I'm going to say, raise your right hand. We're voting. Let me see those right hands. All right. Thank you. I see yours, Don. Thank you. That was unanimous. The board will consider approving the minutes of the March 23rd, 2020 special call board meeting. May I have a motion? Ms. Blackshear, thank you. Do I have a second? Ms. Heineman, thank you. Any questions or concerns on that? All in favor, raise your right hand. And that's unanimous. Thank you for stretching. The board will now proceed with the non-consent action items portion of the agenda. Now, board members, we're going to have to vote on these independently. So I would appreciate each one of you being willing to participate. Action item 6A, the board will consider the adoption of the order authorizing the conversion of the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District variable rate unlimited tax school building bonds, series 2014 B2, 2014 B3, and 2017 A3 to a new rate period, authorizing the preparation of remarketing memorandum and enacting other provisions relating thereunto. May I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. Do we have any questions for this? We do have Jonathan Frails and Terrell Palmer available to answer any questions that we may have. So, yes, Ms. Heineman.
I have two questions. One is, what is the impact or benefit on this change for our local taxpayers? And my second question is, if the terms of the bonds are extended, are we still matching the term of the bond to the life cycle of the asset? Meaning, like when we have the life cycle of a school bus is 12 years, the term of the bond is 12 years, 5 years for instructional technology, et cetera. So I just want to see if that's still a principle in place.
Ms. Heineman,
Ms. Covey,
I'm going to ask you just to wait just a minute because I believe that Ms. Smith is going to make a little presentation, and I didn't notice that. It's my fault. So,
Okay.
Ms. Smith, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Covey. First of all, just so you know, we had already, prior to the coronavirus, becoming so widespread, we had already started looking at something. The interest rates were so at unprecedented lows that we were already looking at the possibility of selling more bonds
looking at both taxable and tax-exempt refundings, as well as options associated with our variable rate bonds, such as fixing them out long-term to get the best fixed rate that we would have long-term. I'm going to go ahead and address both agenda items that will be coming up in a few minutes. But due to the current economic environment and to maximize savings to the district, administration will be recommending the board consider a bond parameter order that allows us to accelerate the issuance of the bond sooner than we normally would. As you recall, we normally issue sell our bonds in October and receive the money in November. Also, to increase the amount of the potential new bonds that we might issue up to $500 million. Originally, the planned amount was $356 million. That was $56 million of the 2014 bond authorization and $300 million of the 2019 bond authorization. In addition, we are requesting to convert the variable rate bonds to long-term fixed rate bonds, and then refund some various outstanding bond series for debt service savings. The total amount that we're looking at possibly refunding is about $600 million, and that would be a combination of taxable as well as tax exempt. We do have some bonds that were due to that were callable in February of 2021. So we were looking; those would be tax exempt refunding. So we're looking at what we will do with those. In addition, the district is also recommending the board consider approval of orders authorizing the conversion of the variable rate bonds in the event it's not advantageous to fix them out or take one of the options that is in the parameter order. The bonds, the fixed rate bonds, or term bonds rather, we have a 2014 B2, 2014 B3, and the 2017 A3. Their term rate period ends on August 16th, 2020. And so we may actually do something with them sooner, but otherwise they are eligible for conversion to a new rate on August 17, 2020. Administration's recommendations provide the district the maximum flexibility during these unprecedented times. And this bond parameter order, what it does is it allows us to move quickly and shave off about 6 weeks in the time frame of going to the market. That's why we're coming to you at this point in time. Also, the bond parameter order is good for 1 year. So just because we're bringing it to you now does not mean we're going to sell bonds right away. We're going to wait and see what's happening with the market. But now I will turn it over to Terrell Palmer, our financial advisor, and see if he would like to add some additional information.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes, great job, Aaron.
That's not good.
Later.
It's hard to describe.
One second, Terrell.
Terrell, hold on a second.
Hold on one second, Terrell. You kind of have a Darth Vader sound right now.
Yeah.
Try it now, Terrell.
I'm checking. How's that sound?
Oop. Not yet.
Not good.
Yet, sir.
Let me see.
I'm going to tell you, you look a lot better than you sound right now.
How does that sound?
No, it's still not quite there.
Terrell, can you call in?
Terrell, can you call in? Can you?
I'll drop off and hop back in. I think Jonathan has the same issue. Jonathan, you might want to
just mute yourself. Terrell, just mute yourself and then call in.
Yeah, mute and call in.
Jonathan, would you like to add anything? Do you have anything you want to share?
Yeah. Let's see. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I can go ahead and answer Ms. Heinemann's question that she had asked earlier. When we do the conversion orders, this is just the conversion of these 3 particular series of bonds to a new term rate period. It is not extending the maturity of the bonds. The maturity of the bonds is set. This is just a new variable rate interest period that we'll be entering into. So there's no change or extension of the maturities whatsoever. They'll still be tied to the useful life as the as the district normally does in connection with its financings. So I hope that answers that question.
Thank you.
Sure. And as Karen mentioned as well, the variable rate conversion orders will only be used to the extent that you don't choose to fix those out because of the interest rate environment that's there. And if Terrell's back on, he'll talk to you more about what the actual market looks like.
Okay. Yeah, can we do that? Hold on just a minute. Is he on? Not yet.
He may have muted his computer.
Thank you, Jonathan, for your answer.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Anybody else want a different type pizza? I'm ordering pizza. Here it is. Let's see. Hopefully it works.
Am I still bad? I'm going through.
No, that's good. Now you.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, you had your radio voice on, Terrell.
Okay, good. Well, sorry about that. It's hard to describe how low interest rates are currently, but to give you a couple of examples, we normally look at the 10-year U.S. Treasury, and last year, which was really a historically low period in interest rates, and I probably have told y'all many times that interest rates are as low as they've been in my entire career. Last year, 2019, the 10-year U.S. Treasury was averaged 2.14%. And today, that 10-year U.S. Treasury is at 0.73%. And so you can see that it's been an almost 140 basis points or 1.4% drop in interest rates. So it's really an unbelievable time to issue bonds, to fix out some of your variable rate bonds, and to take advantage of these phenomenal rates. I tried to look back and see if the 10-year Treasury had ever been at this rate, and it only goes back to 1962, which was the year of my birth. And at the year of my birth, it was still at about 4% in that year. So it's never been this low in my 57 years on this earth. So it's an incredible time to issue. And I look at it as, just being on this call with y'all today to hear all of the effort that the district is having to do to try to keep operations and keep education moving forward. This is just one little small kernel of benefit that this situation is giving to the district and its taxpayers, and we need to take advantage of it. Connie, Karen, and I and my team met, and we outlined several different options for them, and we think that these two resolutions that you will hopefully approve will give you all of the flexibility to really take advantage of that market for both the district and its taxpayers. And so we give it our full recommendation that you approve of these.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Karen, did you have anything extra? Are you
No,
okay?
not unless they had additional questions.
Okay, let me back up here. Ms. Heineman, did you get everything answered you wanted?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody else have a question? Okay.
Tom's.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tom. Okay, there you are. Tom?
Well, I guess you can see my hand, but
Well, I've
maybe
got the camera between me and you now, so yes, that's okay.
and these questions relate to both of the two motions. So it doesn't matter that we only have questions on the floor for the first motion because they pertain to both. We've already talked about the current interest rate environment. Going forth, do we anticipate, and I'll lay out a series of questions, and then Karen, you can decide who you want to answer them. We've already talked about the current interest rate environment, 10-year rate falling all the way to 0.7. which is amazing. Going forth, do we anticipate interest rates to be rising or falling? Standard question, will there be an appetite for our bonds? If we sell the bonds, do we anticipate the ability to repay the bond? Are there other risk factors that you need to bring to our awareness, such as property values either going up or going down? And then something you touched on, Karen, and you might want to expand on just a bit. Our approach has always been to sell bonds that are needed within a certain planning period of usage. And with the change going from 336 to potential up to 500 on the new issue, does that current request represent a change from what our standard approach is? So I'll be quiet now and let you answer those and have whoever
Okay.
whoever you wish.
Yes, and I think your first question was going forth, what do we anticipate about interest rates doing? And I'm going to let Terrell respond to that question.
Sure. And Tom, as you know, there are many different interest rates in our market. I talked about the 10-year taxable yields and their dramatic move. In reality, our tax exempt rates have went up for a period of a couple of weeks, went up to I would say by another 100 basis points from where they really should have. And what they call that is they kind of uncoupled with the taxable rates. In other words, they weren't trading in line with taxable rates. They're still uncoupled. And so to answer your question, I believe that taxable rates will remain very low. And in this low area, they will probably not rise in the near future. They will probably not go any lower than they are currently. However, I feel like our tax exempt rates, the tax exempt rates are the ones that you're going to be issuing, with your bonds. I believe that those interest rates will be going down from today's percentages, to tell you the truth. I feel like just from talking to the experts and doing our own analysis, we feel that there's probably 50 to 60 basis points worth of additional reduction in the tax exempt interest rate market that we've already seen has had dramatic changes just in the last couple of weeks. So I expect the tax exempt rates to go down to really dramatic levels. As you can see, the taxable rates have already gone down, but it's going to take our market a little while to adjust to these new low levels and reduce. What does that mean for you? Let me, we thought we, sold our last set of bonds in the fall at unbelievable rates. We're able to lock in our 30-year bonds at 2.77%, which is sounds like an amazing interest rate. I would expect that if we go back to the normal coupling with the taxable rates, I would expect our interest rates to be in the low 2% on that same type of issuance. So you're saving 60 to 70 basis points on a bond issue, which would just be amazing. That all of that compared to an interest rate that we promised to our taxpayers of 3.5%. That was our estimate within our modeling. And so you can see that we've created a lot of savings there by taking advantage of these lower rates. So to recap your question, I believe taxable rates will remain the same. I still think tax exempt rates will continue to fall and get back in line with the taxable rates.
Good, thorough answer. Thank you.
And I believe your next question was, will there be an appetite for our bonds? And on this one, I'll also let Terrell respond.
Sure. There in any difficult market, there's a flight to quality, and there's no higher quality than Cypher ISD with your underlying high AA ratings, plus you've got the permanent school fund guarantee over the top of you that provides you with a AAA rating on your bonds. And so, we feel like there will always be a market for your bonds, but we want to issue bonds. We want to issue your bonds when there's almost what I would call a feeding frenzy for your bonds, where you have a lot of people lined up to buy your bonds. That is not the case right now. Everybody's being a little standoffish in our market, but it will settle out fairly soon. I'm expecting by the summer we'll be issuing bonds as normal.
Thank you. And then Tom, I think your next question was, has our approach been to sell bonds? How is it different than before? And the district has typically tried to spread out the issuance of those bonds to minimize the impact to the tax rate. So when we went to the voters, we were saying we would sell them at about $300 million a year of the 2019 bonds. But since there's a possibility of a decline in property values due to the economic environment resulting from COVID-19 and then decreasing oil prices, we've been working with Terrell Palmer and Jonathan Frells to help offset the impact of those declining property values. And this parameter order that we're bringing to you, if the market turns how we hope, then this would help us offset those declining property values, because that is part of what was modeled, is what will happen to our property values. And so we might be able, as Terrell said, to capture record low interest rates, and we would benefit from selling more than the $356 million we had originally said. And as long as when the district sells bonds, what we do is we're looking out and making sure that whatever projects we have that are part of our bond sale, that we can relatively expect to, or reasonably expect to complete by 85% within 3 years. So that's kind of the parameter that we look at. And if we increase it to the $500 million, it's something we believe would occur, or we would not add it to part of the bond order. So it would be somewhere between the $356 million to the $500 million at the maximum. And I believe your next question was, will the maturities of the bonds approximate the life of the asset for which the proceeds of the bonds will be used? And the answer is yes. The bond maturities, basically for instructional technology, it's 5 years. Instructional infrastructure or technology infrastructure, it's 10 years. Buses is 12 to 15, and then renovations, buildings, and additions, 25 years.
Very good. I'm sure that it's not the case, but since we're deviating slightly from our normal approach, but we will definitely not run afoul of any arbitrage requirements as it relates to keeping bonds tax exempt, right?
That is correct.
And then the last one, with your modeling, you mentioned that property values could go down as a result of the impact of plummeting oil prices, as well as perhaps because of the virus. Do we see any difficulty in retiring these bonds when they become due?
No, we've looked at that as far as the bonds that we're selling right now, and we don't see any difficulty associated with that. And I don't know if Terrell has anything he wants to add to that, but we don't with the amount we're recommending, or we wouldn't be recommending them.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. I would say that you have a lot of options if our property values do not grow at the rates that we had projected within our model. And probably the easiest one would be to suspend or delay future bond issues in order to allow for our taxable value to stabilize and start growing back to historic numbers.
Very good. Karen, to the three of you all, thank you for very thoughtful but also detailed answers. These two resolutions have tremendous impact on our taxpayers, obviously our students, and I appreciate all the work that went in behind bringing these two matters to the board.
Thank you.
Board, due to the type of meeting that we're having today, I've been instructed that I will be reading the agenda items. And if you want to make a motion in the form of the agenda item is, you can say so moved. But if you want to make a change in that, you need to state it. Raising a hand is not acceptable, I was just told, and I'm sorry, I didn't know that was possible. But anyway.
Bob,
Yeah.
Can I ask one more question?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sure.
No, it's my fault. I was going back through my questions, and it has to do with, it's actually 6B, since we're kind of talking about both of them at the same time.
But we're not going to vote on 6B yet.
Oh, so I can't ask a question about it yet?
Well, let's move it to 6B. Let's go ahead and do the vote on 6A. Okay.
Okay, yes.
We have a motion by Mr. Jackson and a second by Ms. Heineman. All in favor, say aye or raise your right hand. I can see your hands. I can see your hand. Yeah, I see it done. Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. Now, 6B. The board will consider the adoption of the order authorizing the issuance of the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District Unlimited Tax School Building and Refunding Bonds, which may be issued in one or more series, levying a tax and providing for the security and payment thereof, providing for the award of the sale thereof in accordance with the specified parameters, and enacting other provisions relating thereunto. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ryan, now we're open for questions. Ms. Heineman.
Okay, thank you. And I don't know if this question is more specific. Well, anyway, I'll just ask my question. Does this have any impact on our financial standing? Specifically, does it impact our first rating, our financial integrity rating with the state?
There is an actual item or one of the items in the first rating that relates to how much debt we have.
Right.
So, and because our debt, we have quite a bit of debt, that it's the way the statement actually is, I guess what I would say, because it's based on the government-wide financial statements and the way it's looked at. And so there's things that it's bringing all that debt in at one time as if we were going to pay it all off at one time, just so you know, which is not reflective of what we really do. However, I will say that it has affected our rating in the past, the amount of our debt, but we will be monitoring that. We still have room before it would affect our rating. We would still be superior. And so we would monitor that to make sure that that did not occur, and keep that in our mind at the same time.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Karen, did you or Terrell or Jonathan have anything you wanted to talk about this specific? No, you're okay.
So. Mm-hmm.
Are there any other questions from the board? Anybody else? Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Jackson and a second from Mr. Ryan. All in favor, raise your right hands. And that's unanimous. Thank you. 6C, the board will consider delegating to the superintendent the authority to approve the tax refunds of $500 or greater that were determined by the Cypress-Fairbanks
Okay.
ISD.
I was just trying to decide what to say on that. I didn't want to say, well, we're already deemed by
Hello.
Darth.
Hi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go back. The board will consider delegating to the superintendent the authority to approve the tax refunds of $500 or greater that were determined by the Cypress-Fairbanks ISD's tax collector and internal auditor to have been made in error or in excess in accordance with the Texas Tax Code Section 31.11. Presenter Karen.
Really, I just want to, this is a slight change from what we've done in the past. And basically, we're just asking you to delegate to the superintendent the authority to approve the refunds of $500 or greater so that we can get those refunds to our taxpayers sooner. We have gotten quite a few phone calls. They're in desperate need of their refunds. And so this will allow us to move faster on providing those refunds to those taxpayers.
Okay,
But we would still be reporting to the board after the fact.
Yes.
So the board would still get the report.
right. Okay, do I have a motion from someone?
I so move.
Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Dr. Ogletree. Do we have any questions?
I have a question.
Okay, Ms. Heineman.
Today must be my day. So Karen, why is it seem so high this month? And what is can you explain the first item listed?
Actually, it's the reason it's so high is two reasons. One, if you'll recall, our last board meeting was the beginning of March. And so it was a little bit sooner. Then we kind of held the time period open before we usually have a cutoff date of when we are doing reporting our refunds to you. We held it longer so that we could give the most refunds out as possible. So rather than being about 4 weeks, it was about 6 weeks.
Okay.
Part of it. And the first one was just a duplicate payment where the company that processes the payments, the property tax payments, paid the bill, and so did the individual. So that's why you saw that, is we actually were refunding back the person who should not have made the property tax payment.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Questions? Any further questions? May I have a motion? Oh, sorry, we have a motion. Excuse me. I have a motion by Ms. Blackshear and a second by Dr. Ogletree. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, thank you. That's unanimous. 6D, the board will consider approving on second reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies. 1, DFFA, local, reduction in force, financial, my favorite word, exigency, revise. I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Mark.
Okay. We've had some questions related to this agenda item, and I just asked Marnie if she would give a little explanation of it to relieve everyone's mind.
Thank you. I told Dr. Henry, can you hear me? Thank you. I told Dr. Henry I would take just a minute to explain. If you'll notice, this is second reading, and it's DFFA, which is our financial exigency policy. And it's the changes within it, which you'll see the red line. First reading was last month, and this is just the second reading, and that's our district process. We do a 2-month reading on policies before we change them. You can see in the red line that they were just, one was a formatting change, and the other was just a change to align with a policy change in another area. And so they were really formatting and changes that TASB recommended our policy service coordinator. But just because of what was going on right now, I said, let's take a minute and just explain, if anybody just looking at our agenda, but not digging down into our agenda, thought that we were trying to take some action to declare financial exigency. I wanted to take a minute to just say, this is a policy that's been in existence for a long time, and we are just making formatting and non-substantive changes to the policy, but we don't have any plans for doing any sort of reduction in force.
Okay, thank you, Marnie. May I have a motion, please? Dr. Ryan. That's funny. Thank you, Mr. Ryan, for the motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Blackshear. Does anyone have any questions that they'd like to pose to Marnie? We okay? All right, all in favor, please raise your right hand. And it's unanimous, thank you. 6E, the board will consider approving on first readings, additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies CQ local technology resources or revise, CBQ local technology resources, cybersecurity and add, EHBB local special programs, gifted and talented students, a revise. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Ogletree. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Heineman. Now we're open for any questions about this. There's questions only, no presentation. Any questions? Then we'll take a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. And it's unanimous. Okay. Moving on to 6F. The board will consider approving the instructional materials allotment TEKS certification for 2020-2021. May I have a motion?
I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Ryan. You may have any questions? Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. And we're unanimous. Thank you. 6G, the board consider awarding bids and contracts and are authorizing purchase orders as recommended in the posted agenda items. 1, Cyrus-1 Data Center Services. 2, musical instruments for replacement and growth. May I have a motion?
I so move.
Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. May I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Heineman. Anybody have any questions at all? Mr. Jackson.
Paula, if you would comment very briefly on the contract with Cyrus-1.
Yes, sir. Cypress-Fairbanks currently runs 2 active data centers. We have an on-premise data center, and our primary data center is at Cyrus-1, a co-location facility. Many enterprises, higher eds, and our school districts are partnering with co-location centers to provide and to support growth initiatives. With frequent changes in technology, it makes it challenging to forecast data center needs, and Cyrus-1 gives us that flexibility. They're highly secure. They have a low-cost data center. They have several partners that have direct metro lines into the center, such as Google, Microsoft, Amazon, a variety of internet service providers. That saves us from providing connectivity to our on-prem data center.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand, right hand. That's unanimous. Thank you. 6H, the board will consider approving the consent to encroachment for the construction of a concrete driveway at Tips Elementary School between Cypress-Fairbanks ISD and Barker-Cypress Municipal Utility District, and authorizes superintendent or designee to negotiate the final terms and conditions and execute all related documents. May I have a motion?
I so move.
Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. May I have a second? Do we have a second? Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. Do you have any questions? Yes, sir, Mr. Jackson.
Oh, I'm asleep. You're on the encroachment. I do not.
No. Okay, we're okay. So no other questions? Then we'll vote. All in favor, please raise your right hand. And that's unanimous. Thank you. 6I, the board will consider approving constructions, proposals, and contracts paid from bond funds to the recommended contractors and authorizes superintendent or designee to execute all necessary documents related to such contracts as follows. 2019, Andre, Burks, Emery, Frazier, Hemingway, Lampkin, Postman, and Yeager. 2019 baseball and softball field renovations to Cy Falls, Cy Ranch, Cy Ridge, and Cy Woods High Schools. Number 3, 2019 baseball and softball turf replacements at Cy Falls, Cy Ranch, Cy Ridge, and Cy Woods High Schools. Number 4, 2019 Blyle and Campbell Middle School renovations. Number 5, 2019 Haregrove and Horn Elementary Schools and Salyards Middle Schools renovations. Number 6, 2019 Millsap and Wilson Elementary School renovations. Number 7, elementary school traffic improvements, Hamilton and Reed Elementary Schools. Number 8, Cy-Fair FCU Stadium synthetic turf replacement. May I have a motion?
I move that we approve.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Debbie. I have a second. Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. Anybody have any questions?
I woke up this time.
Okay. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Wait,
Oh, we did. Where is he? Oh, there you are. Okay.
well, it's hard to see with the gray. I just kind of blend in with the gray background.
Okay.
Okay. Roy, these questions are all for you, and I'll lay out all the questions and then let you answer them in whatever order.
Can you move Tom up by Linda so I can see him better? You can't do it. Okay.
So first, this is really Debbie's question, but I'll ask for her. Which of the sites require high water mitigation? Did we need to modify any of our proposals to reflect additional cleanliness concerns? 3, there's a number of contracts here included. Did all the work get awarded to just 1 or 2 firms, or was it allocated to a number of different firms? Given the possibility that the virus may reduce workforce participation, are we comfortable with the envisioned timetable? With COVID-19 on our minds, please comment on whether or not methods and procedures exist for maintaining the cleanliness of our fields. We have a number of contracts here, Proposal 2, Proposal 3, and Proposal 8, that all relate to replacements and renovations at our athletic fields. And I know 10 years ago, we did have virus concerns. So if you would, answer those questions and kind of bring us up to date.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Matt Morgan will be able to answer all those questions for you. He's prepared to respond to them.
Thank you, Roy. For the first question, which of these sites require high water mitigation? None of these sites require high water mitigation. We had several, Emory, Hemingway, Lampkin, and Postman, that are in the 500-year floodplain, but they have never flooded and did not require any mitigation for these projects. For the second question, did we modify our proposals to reflect additional cleanliness concerns? The answer to that question is no. However, we are requiring our general contractors to provide their COVID-19 protocols for our review and comment. The third question, there are a number of contracts included. Did all the work get awarded to just 1 or 2 firms, or was the work separated? The work was separated. Division 1 received a contract. ICI received 2 or 3 contracts, and Satterfield and Pontica's construction firm also received a contract, as well as Hellas and Field Turf for the turf projects. The fourth question is the construction work on school facilities deemed essential services? Yes, it is. And then given the possibility of the virus may reduce the workforce participation, are we comfortable with the work extending past the envisioned timeline? Most of these projects are 2 summer projects. We've been working very closely with our architects and our general contractors. We haven't realized any disruption in the market yet. Actually, on some of the projects that we're currently under construction, we're getting way ahead during this period. So we don't anticipate any delays. We'll keep an eye on this is a pretty fluid situation. We'll keep an eye on the market and continue to talk with our general contractors and architects, but we're very comfortable with our substantial completion dates. In regards to COVID-19 and the cleanliness of the turf, there are methods to clean the turf. Both Field Turf and Hellas have machines that you can mount on or pull behind a gator and clean the turf. Just as a note, chemical cleaning is very uncommon on outfield or outdoor turfs because they are subjected to sunlight, heat, and other elements. But there are methods to disinfect the turfs. Did I get all those questions?
You did, and let me hit you with a follow-up. Since there are methods to disinfect our turfs, do we currently employ those during a regular season? Do we do it at the end of the season or periodically, or we never do it?
We do it periodically. The athletics departments work with our turf manufacturers, and they clean them on a regular basis.
Thank you. I know for Bob and Don and John, they were on the board when we had the surface strep virus outbreak that hit our fields, and the district moved expeditiously to address and figure out how to take care of that problem. So I'm pleased to hear that we continue to use an approach to keep those playing fields safe for our students. Thank you for thorough answers.
Okay. Do we have any other questions? And we have a motion by Ms. Blackshear and a second by Mr. Sarabia. All in favor, raise your right hand. And that's unanimous. Thank you, Tom. 6J, the board will consider approving and authorizing the superintendent or designee to enter into the miscellaneous professional service contracts related to the following project. 1, 2019 Blyle and Campbell renovations. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Heineman. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Mr. Ogletree. Do we have any questions or concerns? Nope. I'll take a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. I see you, Tom. There you go. Okay, thank you. It's unanimous. 6K, the board will consider approving the request of the Texas Education Agency waiver that allows the district to train staff on various educational strategies designed to improve student performance in lieu of student instruction for the 2020-2021 school year. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. O. May I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Sarabia. Anybody have any questions for Dr. Macias? Okay, well, we'll take a vote. Everybody in favor, raise your right hand. Got it. Okay, that's unanimous. 6L, the board will consider approving a waiver of the provisions in EIA local academic achievement grading progress reports to parents necessary for the district to implement its learning at home curriculum in response to the closure of in-person instruction due to the COVID-19 pandemic. May I have a motion?
I so move.
Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. May I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Sarabia. Do we have any questions or concerns? Yes, Ms. Heineman.
Can someone from the district explain what this means? What does this mean? What exactly are we waiving, and how would teacher appraisals look different this year than in past years?
Dr. Macias?
Oh, wait, am I on the wrong one? Sorry, never mind. Wait.
No, this is the academic.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So I still have a question. What does this mean, Dr. Macias?
Okay, so Ms. Heineman, so due to the COVID-19 pandemic forcing us to go into online learning, we will need to make some adjustments to EIA local. So a couple of them that I'll highlight for you that we talked about earlier today were taking the grades and all the grades having the same value, that we don't have a test grade and a daily grade. They're all going to be daily grades. That's part of EIA local. Another one that's in there is the semester test. And I shared that we were going to not have a semester test. So it's allowing us to be able to temporarily waive the provisions in EIA local. And I say temporary because as soon as all this is over, we go back hopefully to normal instruction and back to what EIA local has in place.
Okay, so it allows that flexibility for you to do grading differently than what we've done in the past because it's all online digitally or through packets versus face-to-face.
That is correct. It gives us some flexibility within right now during this pandemic.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or concerns, board? We have a motion from Ms.
Marnie.
Black.
Marnie.
I'm sorry, Marnie. I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Marnie, you have something?
Okay, thanks. So I just wanted to add to support what Linda was saying. Linda and I worked together with Teresa's support on this agenda item. And board, just because I know y'all are so active in the state and you monitor things, you'll see other districts bringing resolutions to the board, like a resolution to change the current grading policy the following way. And I've seen on my GC listserv resolutions that were like 4 pages long. And so Linda and Teresa and I, we looked at that and we said, rather than bringing this to you in April and saying, we want to change and we won't have the progress reporting as we typically see. We won't have the weighting of grades within a course the way that we've seen. We won't have the same, we'll take 1 grade per week instead of some of the grading guidelines that the different departments have. They're all in our EIA local. We've got a lot of information in there. We decided to just seek your authorization to look at EIA local, and then in accordance with what we presented to you today about how we're going to move forward academically, we're seeking your permission up front for this limited period of time for the school year for the superintendent to waive portions or change portions of that. You are the only ones who can waive policy, that you've given us the authority as needed in the confines in which we've described to implement certain waivers that you've given authorization or would give authorization through this item blanketly. And so we can then come back to you in May and give you, and that was Linda's plan, Dr. Macias's plan was to give you more specifics. But we don't want to not be able to take action on something because we forgot something in our 3-page list, or we get new information from the governor. We come back, maybe middle of May. We just needed that flexibility, and so we wanted to have that flexibility through this waiver, but know that it's within the confines that we've described to you here today, and that we will follow up and continue to communicate as we seek your authorization. We're just seeking your foresight, as you typically do, to give us authorization to act quickly and what's in the best interest of students.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sims. Thank you. Okay. Are there any other questions? Maybe anything come up since Marnie visited with us? No? All right, then we'll take a vote. All in favor of this, please raise your right hand. And it's unanimous. Thank you. 6M, the board will consider approving the district instructional material recommendations for ELA grades 9 through 12, journalism and debate courses. May I have a motion?
I'm so moved.
Thank you, Ms. Blacksher. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Saravia. Any questions or concerns that need to be stated? No? All in favor, raise your right hand. And it's unanimous. Thank you. 6N, the administration will provide a written request for career and technology innovative course curriculum writing. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. O. May I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Heineman. Any questions or concerns that want to be stated? All in favor, raise your right hand. And that's unanimous. 6O, the board will consider approving the superintendent's contract recommendations to issue probationary term and annual contracts for the 2020-2021 school year for administrators, non-teaching professionals, paraprofessionals, and teachers. Board, we don't have to go through every one of these. This is just for questions only.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Are there any questions or concerns?
There's 815
I know,
pages.
I know. I saw. Yes, Dr. O?
No, no.
Oh,
question.
no. Okay. May I have a motion?
I so moved.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Gilbert.
I appreciate that.
That's okay. May I have a second? Thank you, Dr. O. Are there any questions or concerns? All in favor, raise your right hand. And that's unanimous. Thank you. 6P, The board will consider approving a request for the educator appraisal waiver from the Commissioner of Education due to operational disruptions from the COVID-19 pandemic. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Blacksher. May I have a second?
Don.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
No.
And what? Tom's got a question, or he's
No, no.
What are y'all doing to me? I'm confused. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. All right. Are there any questions or concerns? I know there's a question. Thank you, Ms. Heineman. No?
Okay, so now I'll ask my question. So what specifically is the district waiving, and how would this year's teacher appraisals look different from the past? So specifically, how does that impact teachers?
Thank you, Ms. Heineman. Let me give just a little background information, excuse me, and then I'll answer your question. Like the other waiver, this waiver would really give us the discretion to determine which aspects of the appraisal process can be completed and which, if any, cannot be completed. We do want to let you know that the District Educational Improvement Committee, DEIC, we did meet with them via Zoom on Tuesday of last week, kind of shared the rationale for this waiver, and then they unanimously approved bringing the waiver request to you.
Okay.
In addition to last week, we had representatives from both the professional learning and human resources team. They met with our principal cluster leaders, which are 16 principals representing their various clusters, again, to share the rationale of this waiver request with them and to specifically look at what you're asking about, our teacher evaluation and support system, or CF tests. As you know, that is the majority, number-wise, the majority of people that would be impacted by this waiver, and in particular, the teacher evaluation support system. Once a final decision has been made, principals will communicate with their staff, and we anticipate that taking place by the end of this week. What we asked the principal cluster leaders to do was to go back and then visit with the principals in their respective clusters to get their feedback. That feedback was due Thursday, and that is being put together now as we speak from the professional learning staff, and then we will assess and move forward on what the recommendation is to give you more information about how will that be impacted, or how will the CF test, teacher evaluation and support system, be modified. It's safe to say there will be some modification. We just don't know yet what that will be, and we'll have that by the end of the week, and we'll make sure principals have that to share with their respective staffs.
Thank you for that information. I'm sure it's going to be very much like how we're assessing students. We want no students to be harmed. We don't want to we don't want to add additional stress to students, and we certainly don't want to do that to our teachers as well in this very challenging situation that we're in.
You're absolutely right. And knowing what some of the information that has been shared by principals and the departments I mentioned before, we're right in line with what you just shared.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? All right, we have a motion by Ms. Blacksher and a second by Mr. Jackson. All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Dr. Henry?
Okay, just two quick things. Number one, trustees, thank you so much for taking 3.5 hours this afternoon to go through this. I know that was a lot to cover, unprecedented times, as I said earlier, but certainly thank you for your continued support and your volunteer spirit. It makes a real difference in our community, the decisions that y'all have made. And then I would say to our community, we'll have more information over the next couple of weeks. Certainly we're waiting not just on the federal government, but primarily on the state government to get more direction on what will be decided from a state level. And then also remember, we're also subject to county rules and county laws. So we should be getting more information. We've got numerous conference calls planned with state health officials, local health officials, and local and state leaders. So more information will be coming, but thank the community and everyone so much for your support. And all I can do is promise you what I did before the COVID-19, that everybody that works for Cypher ISD is committed to do the best that we can for this community. And it's new to us, but we're going to get better every day. And I continue to pray for all of y'all, and I hope you'll pray for all of us too. Thank you.
And board, I just want to say, I can't tell you how honored I am to serve on this with all of you. And the questions that you asked today were just remarkably in-depth. And I think if anyone listens to this, then they are going to learn what they need to know. I appreciate you being here and giving us your time today. I appreciate the administration and everything they've done, and our teachers and faculty and support staff. And God bless our students. Thank y'all. We are adjourned.
All
right.